McRae talk about changing the angles, especially on repeat inside 50s, which I think is a challenge tonight. Try and get it around Wiedering and Dean will be their greatest challenge going inside 50.
And I think the type of inside 50, the inside 50 that comes at speed from their half-back flank area had been their signature. Especially through that season of 23 where they won the flag. It was Nick with aggression off half-back, and they just lined up like a rugby run and come at speed. We haven't seen that as much this year. It's been more dour. It's been more precise but slow. I don't think that necessarily suits the talent forward of the ball.
You have a look at the ins and outs. They tell interesting stories. For the Collingwood Footy Club, Allen and Hayes comes in to go. You have a look at the ins and outs. They stars the side out. Then you look, Geordie at the Blues, Wiedering comes in, Hayward comes back in, and Dean, who's a young player who started his career well.
Yeah, and I think in big games like this, 85,000 here on a Friday night, really traditional rivals, you want experience. Accounts for a lot in these types of games. So no, welcome back, Jacob Wiedering, absolutely, especially in that back end as we see the pre-game lights getting turned down. What a great spectacle.
Yes, this match introduced in 1993 as the Peter Mac Cup, and it's raising awareness for the Peter McCallum Cancer Centre, a building that has touched most of our lives at some stage, and that awareness continues. You can donate to there on your screens, and the lights steadily coming back on as we're about to get underway for two sides. 130 years of history, David King, but no quarter given.
Well, you can correct a bad year by beating Collingwood, and you can correct a bad year by beating Carlton. There's no doubt about that. The game tonight, Geordie, I think will be dictated by Carlton's ability to control the ball out of contest.
Yep.
They'll probably win more than their fair share of ball. Can they get that translated to uncontested position on the outside? If not, Collingwood will get them with speed.
So the two famous rivals at the Melbourne Cricket Ground to kick off round 6. And there's going to be a secondary ball up and a little bit of niggle early.
I just wonder with the pre-game question to Scott Pendlebury whether he goes to Paddy Cripps all game.
So Pitnet, Cripps on hands and knees. Williams with the first clean kick of the match inside attacking 50. Mackay went in, fist came from Frampton. Cripps now just taps it to himself, pressured by Carroll. Cripps did really well in the end, thought about kicking it along the ground. Schultz was grabbed and wrapped up.
268 consecutive game of football for Jack Crisp. It's a crazy number. Cameron, Pendlebury waits off the contest. Now accesses it by hand. Lipinski with a 1-2. Game 4:30 for the champ. Back to Lipinski. Nice little build-up. Sees something out on the wing to the run.
It's Schultz who's in some space, and then the darting kick. Elliott with the football.
That shift from Pendlebury to set them on a path of uncontested footy. Just here, he could go through the corridor, steps back in, puts Lipinski into space, and then it's leapfrog from there. Classy play early from Scott Pendlebury. What else would you expect?
Elliott, who's kicked 5 goals this season so far after kicking 60 last year. And then he's kicked into the man of the mark. He was attempting to pass it. Bats it back to Quaynor. Nick Dacos, match 100. Back to brother Josh. Josh at the edge of the square. Inside 50 in the Elliott direction again. Florence there to mop it up to Walsh, and the Blues are out.
It's a nice run off half-back. Down to Mackay. He's got a couple to beat. Frampton does well not to infringe. Kemp, nice hands. Long ball forward is absolutely perfect into the hands of Hayward, delivered by Frankie Evans. And with a new haircut, he gets a new opportunity.
He looks sharp, doesn't he? Just down on confidence at the moment, Jamie Elliott. Usually back himself from outside 50 to bang it through. I'll tell you what, the transition would please Michael Voss early in this part of the game. We've spoken about how reliant they are on stoppages and scores from stoppages. That's a good play.
Back from suspension. 5th game in the Navy Blue. He's kicked a couple of goals after coming across from Sydney as part of the Curnow trade. Now he'd love to get his team underway here. He shapes it nicely. Hayward and the Blues with the opener.
Well, I just love the support of Sam Walsh getting hard and deep down back, he's charging. He really is. He's everywhere at the moment. Fantastic first quarter last week. But just look here. This is where you need your class players to take that extra beat and not just dump that ball, but get it to the advantage of Harry. You can see Howe's trying to support. That gives him a chance. He brings it to ground, and then just good follow-up, good smart football out the back over the top. But if Walsh doesn't get that ball to the favoured side of Harry, which hasn't been a legacy, I don't think, of Carlton at the start of this season, then you don't get that opportunity.
It's good signs, isn't it, from Mackay, just to fight 2v1 and bring the ball to ground. They were set up relatively well, Collingwood defensively, but sometimes you've just got to do the simple things well.
Steen went early, had a fresh area at it. Kick from Pitternet, Evans, Ainsworth sizes them up. He's running sideways very, very hard and goes through for a behind.
Well, good signs early, especially from centre bounce for Carlton. It seems that's when they compete their best, from centre bounce and 6v6 ahead of the ball and a bit of space.
Yeah, first quarter last week against the Crows, they were dynamite out of the middle. Nick Dacos to Howe. He's got Quainer on the defensive flank. Lipinski's ahead of the footy. Sends it down to Shane Warne, stand wing. McStay does well to compete, brings it to ground and keeps the ball in after the Blues stopped. Bevy of players around the footy. McStay somehow got it out, but not effectively to throw.
Just another one to watch throughout the game. If it's Walsh and Dacos head-to-head.
High on 15, high on.
They're open on the open side if they can keep going.
Cherra's kick was a shade errant, but it found Florent anyway, who had some time. And with composure, as expected, to Ollie Hollands. And then blazing on by Florent. Wobbly one towards half-forward, but Blues have the numbers here. Mackay had enough of it.
He's looking terrific, Harry. On the move, presenting. Big presence forward of the ball. They've gone to him this week. Great to see him clunk one. He had an opportunity to really set them on the path in the first quarter against the Crows and couldn't quite get them to stick. It's a good start.
There haven't been great kicks to him.
Bit of work to do, wasn't it?
Boy, they need him tonight. He's kicked multiple goals in 6 of the 8 games he's played against Collingwood. From outside the arc, that's going to glance right.
But once again, we talk about their transition, D50 to inside 50, another positive result. It just shows how important that Florent handball is. They run from behind, use that pocket behind the man on the mark. We understand he can't move. Oh, it's a good kick.
Brilliant kick. Perfectly hit Frampton. Onto the champ, to his brother. This is better from the Pies. They split it out wide to McStay. Quick ball movement. Dean stands him. Back to Lipinski. He's got Schultz inboard. Schultz still wants it. Elliott cuts it back even further. The long was fantastic. End-to-end footy by the Pies.
You can't say enough about that kick out from Jeremy Howe. I mean, that is a set play. Frampton on the move. He was always going to be the target. Charging up the corridor. Their eyes lit up, the Pies. They were out forward of the ball and gone.
Clever kick inboard, isn't it, from Elliott? So Long to quickly respond for the Pies. 35 metres out in front of a big crowd at the MCG, and he's not able to take advantage.
You don't love to see that when you've had a kick in a chain of possessions inside forward 50, and then all that effort doesn't get rewarded.
To our rivals, famous rivals in the AFL. Collingwood 135 wins, Carlton 129.
This is what McRae's talking about, try and change the angles and maybe build the ball up a little bit and be relatively reluctant to go straight back in.
Cameron gave ground to Frampton. Maynard called to play on. Howe into the corridor. Houston.
This also just gives your forwards a chance to work their direct opponent over.
Back to Howe. This time he's going to send it inside. Long inside. Attacking 50, and it's the big O. Steen, his 4th match, and he's impressed so far this year.
So just being patient and being comfortable being patient. You see here, Steen got a likely matchup in Cowan. We've already seen in the early part of his career, he's so athletic. Oh, good luck being Haynes trying to stand in the hole above him.
He attacked it with confidence, didn't he?
He's got good courage in the air. Great timing.
So a big moment early in the career of Oscar Steen. Steady as she goes, and through it goes.
So I think, Kingy, that's a sign of maturity, that first bit of play. When Darcy Cameron marks it down the line, quite often you want to go past, get a handball receive and get it straight back in there to really challenge the defence. Here, front half turnover. They've been working on their front half turnovers. And now you've just got to sit in this type of play and be comfortable and not try and rush yourself. See here, the forwards and the defenders working. Jamie Elliott, McStay, Steen, just waiting patiently for the ball to come back in.
Just wonder where the ruckman is for Carlton. I mean, that's an obvious mismatch. And as you said, you get a bit of time to set. When you kick the ball sideways across the top of 50, you would have thought he got back to his opponent.
Good lead from Cameron in the middle. Dacos went to go off the ground. Long, burrows his head, throws the ball forward. Anderson, Nick Dacos, beautifully weighted. Long, over the top of the footy. Carlton fans were interested in the holding the ball. Now McGovern sends the ball deep and wide. Kemp's on a nice long lead.
Oh. Probably could have been 50 there, wasn't in the marking contest.
Mackay's deep, leads to the pocket. Frampton's got the job. They go down in that area now. It's going to be tight on the line. Billy holds and holds and holds, and the umpire says, my word, he did.
Yeah, and a gentle reminder from the Carlton faithful in the stands. Always helps. It's going to be a critical matchup, no doubt, this one here, and he looks like he's on song at the moment, Harry.
Has he got a right peg, King?
I haven't seen it too often, Moons.
You're going to go the left banana.
Usually used for balance.
Well, it's a big moment. It just could get his night off to an absolute flyer.
And a crisp start to the game. And one shot already from a tight angle. Not the result.
We don't often see a drop punt from that acute angle.
So, Josh Dacos, whilst his brother celebrates his 100th, this is match 157 for him. Quainer. It's got crisp short, and Carroll's there to try and cut it off. So it deflects back to Quaynor. He's in a little bit of a pickle here. Tunnel ball to Crisp. Fends off one. Did well. Back to Josh Dacos. Gives ground Houston. Oh, now Houston's going to have to switch play out to Frampton. A bit more open out there.
I should have used Howe in the middle. He might still get used.
In the end, they sent it really wide to Roan Steele.
Just love to see Frampton. I know he wasn't composed, but just have a little sneaky look in the middle of the ground. He would have found Jeremy Howe all by himself.
Perryman delays the kick. Pops it down to Membry. Couple to beat.
Got him. Back dominate. Darcy. Lewis.
Pretty still night in Melbourne with a bit of a storm that came through at around about 4:30. Hopefully the rain stays away. Young, Cameron won it down. Nick Dacos grabbed by Chera. To ground it went. Nothing doing from the umpire, and then going in, Hayes was taken high. Advantage paid. So it comes back via Pendlebury. And Perryman sinks his boot into it towards the top of the square. No mark. Carroll's at the back, trying to mop it up. He's under pressure. It's a dangerous looking kick. Hayes gets another chance, and he flicks it back. Working it around through Pendlebury. Great spotting. Josh Dacos.
Yeah, how often do you see when the pressure's coming from or in the direction where the goal is, you just look back. You either find a winger or a half-back that's just drifted down in a defensive position, and quite often they can be used in an offensive position. You see here, look lateral or look back. And the forwards just didn't squeeze down quick enough.
Contracted until 2030. Josh Dacos directly in front, and that's not one of his better efforts.
Well, Carroll gets away with one there. He could have easily just rushed that through and let Carlton just drop into a bit of composure. They look like they're trying to counter-attack really wide.
Well, weighted to Haynes. Just explain what you mean there, Kingy.
Well, I think it's smart to play wide, and at worst you get a stoppage if it goes out of bounds. That's a shot kick.
That's a helicopter straight to the Pies. They'll come back with interest now. Anderson caught in a tackle. Walsh looks just sharp right from the start of the season. He looks like he's got some real run in his legs. Good contest. Hollands brings it to ground. Anderson confronted by the big frame of Wiedering, goes through his legs. Elliott, McCreary back by hand. Anderson, third possession in the chain, does well. Strong man. Sends it perfectly into the path of McStay. We'll give him the credit, and he's nailed it.
Had a few of these last week at the Adelaide Oval. Just here on the right foot and just left him a bit shallow. So you imagine he would have went to work during the week.
Behind me, Adam.
Strong looking footballer. Anderson across from the Sandford. From Sturt in the premiership. Best on ground there. So they've missed a couple of chances, the Pies. Need to start kicking these. McStay bends it nicely round the corner, points to the crowd. And the Pies have got two.
Well, they've been challenged. Walsh's switch across the ground just hung for an extra second, and Elliott got there. So it's not working for him at the moment. There's the other turnover there, the absolute doosra. Just
reverse drop punt.
Yeah, and this one here, had to punch it a bit harder. It held up, and Elliott did well to get there to put pressure on. And the rest is history.
It was good technique by Elliott, wasn't it? How often do you see players really cannon into the player who's about to mark the ball? Just turn your body back to where the ball is coming from, and that was a kick off the side of the boot. McStay just read it quicker than his direct opponent.
So the basics they are doing very well, Collingwood. Last week, 26 tackles inside that forward 50. You can see there, almost an all-timer. So the little things going well.
McCreary, Nick Dacos sends it long again. Elliott, spoilt by Haynes. To ground it goes. Spat back to Haynes. He's trying to use Wiedering, but Haynes is going to have to mop it up himself, and then Elliott with a little 1% of the smother was excellent.
And we've spoken about Elliott's form and how do you get into the game. Well, the spoil from the cross from Sam Walsh, the smother to disallow Carlton to exit their own D50.
Collingwood's free kick for out in the full.
Oh, wow.
So that's obviously gone up to the arc. We've made a quick call on that.
It must have been a very unlucky foot. And this is the reward you get as a player.
Gee, I hope it's right.
Oh, no.
I hope they're right.
We haven't seen the replay as yet. We'll concentrate on Elliott first, who's going to try and scrub it through. Goes through for a behind. Let's have a look at the replay, Kingy.
Florent favours the members' side. Well weighted to Ollie Hollands.
Stay out. Stand by.
Now Taylor Byrne. Entertaining start to this one.
Stand.
They've set the ground up really skinny here, Carlton. Just probing on that 45. Collingwood actually defending the ground really well.
So forced to go to a contest. Favours the Blues. It's a nice mark from Young over the top of Quainer.
Ollie Hollands' kick, and then he was infringed with Quaynor, but it's going to come back.
Yeah, but Young just gave the ball too early. You've got to wait for Hollands to either get Latcher with the mark. Here's a free kick, Kingy. Might need another look at that.
So throw in. Ollie Hollands and Cripps first on the scene. McCreary with the big tackle holding the ball.
Gee, they're tackling well, the Pies. Got a taste for it at the moment. It's tackle number 7 already. Forward half stuff's been terrific.
Let's just see once again if they're patient with their ball build up.
Through the hands of Pendlebury, always a good option. Brilliant inside ball. And Steen can line up for his second. He's everywhere.
Again, I think that's off Young. I just think he's getting easily forward against the Carlton opposition. You can see top of 50 there, 33. He really doesn't have an awareness of where his opponent's going. And he's in a dangerous spot for the second time in 15 minutes.
He's already kicked one, the number 21. Dishes off by hand. Houston, long range. Inaccurate.
That's a good point. Young ruckman Just needs some leadership around him now. They should recognise that.
So out to Haynes. 6 marks inside 50 for the Pies early in this first quarter. And that's going to skid out of play and lasso.
It was just
for the Pies.
It was just the wrong decision by Haynes. He had no idea what was further up the field and played on blindly. You've got to have a look before you play on like that.
Maynard back inside to Houston. He's waiting for some reinforcements. Short to Howe.
This is pretty easy, isn't it, for the Pies, just to chip it around like this.
They're just dictating terms at the moment. That's floating towards Frampton, but they get away with it.
And it's really hard to defend because the ground is so big.
Ball kick. There's a forward kick. Lipinski had to really work hard. He had Byrne all over him. Now it's a hard ball to win. Perryman scooped it out. McCreary went without it. Cripps over the top. Byrne wrapped up, ball it up.
It just shows they're prepared to be patient, going inside their own forward 50.
26 marks to 12. You can see the way they want the game played, the Pies.
Plus 29 disposals too at the moment, Collingwood. Not really doing it on the board at the moment. We're just trying to palm that like Michael Jordan did, Lipinski. The Blues will come the other way. Searching ball forward. Frampton in front position, does well. Mackay drags him to ground, umpire sees it. And the advantage will not be paid because there was none, so Billy will get the free.
He did really well. Even if that kick had have dropped at the feet of Frampton and Mackay, you still don't have representation, so the kick is the wrong kick. You've got to try and use your numbers or go lateral to allow your numbers to catch up and be in a really strong defensive position.
Pitnet's been on the bench for 10 minutes. Just a fraction long.
Waving his arms around.
Yeah, I blame him.
Long kick from Maynard. Pies 3 against 2 here. Crisp floating handball. Put Membry under pressure. Goes to ground. Now Cripps, Collins, Smith, Haywood, Young. Cut off by the little genius though. Nick Dacos threads the needle. Kick inside, attacking 50. In the end offline, and Cowan's there to cut it off.
Haywood wants it wide. He spots him. And responds over the top of Rowan Steele.
I think the early challenge for Carlton in this game, and Jason asked the question before the game, is mentally can they stick at it, even after the mistakes that have been made.
And the only team, Carlton, that have led at quarter time in all 5 games so far this season. Obviously it hasn't gone their way. Good tackle pressure from the Pies.
Yeah, Kingy mentioned it. Their pressure's high.
So they're happy for Carlton to play under pressure and then take the game away from them and make them defend long periods with the uncontested mark game. They want Carlton to be running to defend.
So Steele, McCreary is going to attack this with Cowan. Lipinski came in to assist his teammate. Cowan did beautifully. Young, Hayward, Smith, and then a little pitch and wedge, not good enough. Houston.
Turning over forward to centre again for the Pies. Steele drops it forward. McStay's outnumbered. Oh, he cannons into Dean. Umpire says play on. Brilliant tackle by Haynes.
Deanie unlucky there, King?
I think he was a fraction unlucky, Moons. Yeah. He wore McStay. Looked like he completed the mark.
Gee, they're setting up the ground well. Collingwood really controlling the great big spaces. Just nowhere to move.
Newman had Williams roaring for it. Short ignores, goes long.
And you can just tell by the way they're kicking the ball at the moment, Carlton. They just have no confidence looking up the ground because Collingwood is setting up so well.
Yeah, Collingwood controlling the outside.
So Perryman in splendid isolation on the outer side. Allen. Now Schultz. He goes short to Crisp.
Once again, Steen.
McStay just eased Young under the football. Lipinski looked for Anderson. He's had a bright start to the game. Somehow to Cameron. Little step from Schultz. Dangerous around the sticks. There's a man right out the back. Diving effort again was the ruckman, who's had a tremendous start to this match, but now it lands in the hands of Mackay because he couldn't quite reel it in, Oscar Steen.
Watching Harry closely, he's working really hard to just give his teammates an option, but this is unfortunately their mode at the moment.
And Mackay to the hot spot. with the speculating kick, and it's going to be a free kick to Howe. So Carlton kicked the first through Hayward, 2 goals then to Collingwood. Inside the final 3 minutes of the first term, packed stands at the MCG. Perryman with a little dance, and then Lipinski. Inboard to Dacos.
Stay up, Pat.
He directs traffic, and then the spotting. He was trying to do a little fake.
Arm interference.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
So you can see what they're trying to do. The slow build-up, get set behind the ball, Collingwood, and make it incredibly difficult if it doesn't work with the forward 50 entry for Carlton to go full length of the ground. We know they've had awful problems moving the ball, the Blues.
Death by 1,000 cuts at the moment. Collingwood.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing is when the ball lives in one half of the ground, you just gradually just creep up. So all the forwards effectively are too high now. So Collingwood have got great positioning.
Plus 41 possessions at the moment, the Pies. Haynes, good grab, out of defence. 2 on the clock. Trapped again.
Well done.
Nice little step, trying to break it down. Cowan then goes over the line. Evans is out the back. This is a better build-up for the Blues. Hollands is sneaking all the way to the square. They go way wider than that. Kemp! Nice grab on Frampton.
I thought the kick could have gone to the top of the square. He had good representation. He took the risk to go wide. He trusted Kemp, and he did the right thing by him and backed him up. Big kick this. Working hard, Carlton needs some reward.
The very first goal of the season. He's kicked 5 in his 5 matches. 5 goals, 5. Gets some nice shape on it. Blues fans respond to a brilliant finish.
You just feel like it's going to be a 40 inside 50 type night for Carlton, and they're going to have to capitalise every time they go in, Geordie.
You'll get a good look at it here. You're right, I think it was hitting it at the top of the square, but this is just a build-up, so a little bit of chaos. And what you're relying on is in front of the ball, a marking contest. Frankie Evans was the one that stood up. See there, Pitnet was covered late, so it's a safe kick, but it was a kick to advantage and a really tough set shot. You just take out the risk. If that ball turns over, you just take out the risk for Collingwood to be able to bounce. And Kent was good enough to go back and seal it. 7 inside 50s, 2 goals, 3 to Carlton. So they score once they go in there.
Played 5 games last year, Brodie Kemp, and he's already passed that this year, getting better service in 2026. Smith, Newman, just a kick at hope. Hayward's come out with it.
Oh, I thought it was a man in front.
Flashy haircut, snatches that mark. Straight down the throat of Mackay, couldn't mark it. Kemp was gang tackled, and Dean holding it.
Geez, whatever happened to paying the mark to the man in front? I thought Perryman. You see there, Harry Dean.
Gee, that was...
Me too.
Ed Allen. Just keeping an eye on Harry Dean there. Obviously just been out of the side for a couple of weeks, concussion, so hopefully all okay from that contest. In the back half for the Blues, Evans had a bright start, stands underneath it. Ball spoiled, they go back through Pendlebury.
Got to use the numbers here.
Perryman looked to the ruckman and elected to go to Josh Dacos. Probably the right decision now. He's got a problem, just soccers it. So now the Blues start to ramp up their pressure. Jagger Smith will release it.
Closing stages of the first quarter. Carroll. One more foray forward. Siren's about to sound. The ball's in the hands of Hayward, and with confidence he jogs back, hoping for the big top. Here we go, we love this. Oh, not a bad attempt, and it's going to be just falling short. So an entertaining start, big crowd, these arch rivals, and 2 goals apiece. Hayward and Kemp with the Carlton goals, Steen and McStay for Collingwood. Thursday night footy, and it's the Pies by 1. Don't forget, we're heading down the freeway to Geelong. Talking about rivals, Geelong and Western Bulldogs, haven't they had some classics over the years? It's another blockbuster on a Friday night on Fox.
All right, folks. Hey, there we go. It's quarter time. The Magpies Well, they're in front. It's just by the solitary behind 2-4-16 the Magpies. Carlton Blue Baggers 2-3-15. Tell you what it looked like. For mine, it was just Collingwood on top in that term. They just made a few errors going inside forward 50. Jamie Elliott, just a little bit uncertain on a couple of his kicks there. But the Blues did well to hold on. I think both teams be reasonably happy with where they stand at quarter time. With quarter time, hey, just want to welcome in the live chat. Hey, Paul, what's going on? Welcome back to Melbourne, to the good old cold Melbourne. I tell you what, it's 14 degrees here in Melbourne. It bucketed down rain, but it doesn't actually look too bad out there. Play conditions at the MCG out there this evening. Elvis, what's going on? Of course, had a few more in there. What's that? Double cow. How you doing? Ryan, what's going on? Addy G. What's this Go Blues? Go Pies. That's someone else. WR7 Gamer, how you doing? He's a Blues supporter. Good luck. Hopefully they go all right. Hopefully they can play 4 quarters. I'm not what they do. Hey, just a quick peek there for Addy G, because I know this is your second favourite team. Let's just have a look at the live ladder as it stands. If Collingwood happen to win this game, they'll jump up in 9th position unless they beat the Blue Baggers by 100 points, because the percentage is really low at 92.9. They'll go to 9th. If the Blues don't happen to win this game, they happen to lose, they'll be down there in 16th spot. Yeah, Flag Mantle, I don't know. I tell you what, they were lucky last week against the Pies, making bad errors again. Missed those goals. It'll be interesting. Hey, all you can do is win, and they're doing that, and they're going quite good. Goal scorers so far for the opening term here, Addy G. Oscar Steen, the young fella from the Pies, he's got one with Daniel McStay. And for the Blues, Brody Kemp, Will Hayward, both with singles for them. 2 goals apiece, all singles out there at the moment. Of course, the ball magnet, Nick Dacos, we're looking at the Brownlow medalist for this year. Surely he can win the Brownlow medal this year. There we go. That's just hoping. There we go. Playing his 100th game. Well done. Congratulations, Nick Dacos. The player with the most possessions at his 100th game. Keep winning. I tell you what, it'd be nice to see a Freo Collingwood grand final. We'll turn the tables on Freo. There we go. Dacos, Nick, 11 disposals, 4 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 marks. The only one in double figures. The top 5 are all Collingwood. Lipinski on 8 with Josh Dacos. Harry Perryman, Scott Pendlebury. I tell you what, one of the best players I think to have ever played the game. Scotty Pendlebury, look, he hasn't got that much dash and flair, but the control he's got, he puts the opposition in the twilight zone. Tops the table for Carlton, Nick Newman on 7, 6 kicks, a handball, 3 marks, 3 tackles. Not too bad. Then the next 3 are all Pies. A lot of players on 7 disposals there. Jeremy Howe, Dan Houston, Billy Frampton. There we go. As we go on down, we'll just keep rolling down. I want to see where Harry Mackay there, 4 kicks for the Blues, 2 behinds. Need to get his kicking boot on. I was looking for the other Cripps. Where is he? Cripps. I wanted to see how Cripps was going in the opening term for Carlton. I'm just trying to find him. Jack Crisp for the Fires has got 4. Where's the other Cripps? Crisp, where is he? Oh, there he is, Paddy Cripps. I wanted to see how he was going for the Blue Bagger supporters. Well, I tell you what, folks, here are his stats. Paddy Cripps for the Carlton, 2 disposals, 2 handballs, no kicks, 1 tackle, 1 clearance. That is it. He has had a very quiet quarter, but that's what he does. Just have a quick look at the team stats. It's the Pies by 38 disposals, get a count overall. Inside 50, it was 12-9 in the opening term, 6 scoring shots to 5, 12-9. Free kicks, not really much given out there, 6-4 at the moment. Just looking at the clearances, 4-5, Pies by 1, centre clearances, both teams with a couple each there. Contested possession, Carlton, there we go. They'll be pretty happy with that. They're in front, they're +5 on the contested for there. Just looking at the marks inside 50, as I said, the Pies had the marks, just a few wayward kicks there. Just want to have a look at the tackle count. Both teams very low in the tackle count. They need to get this lifted when this reloads up. There we go, 17, 14. That's super low for both teams. They need to get pressure put on in this game, put on the opposition. The Magpies 1 tackle inside forward 50, Carlton none. Both teams need to lift in that area. There we go. All right, that's enough for me jibber-jabbering for the opening term. I tell you what, he's just incredible. He's incredible. He's got skill personified. I tell you what, when you talk about Peter Dacos, geez, he had some skill. And then, of course, Josh came into the team and he was pretty good. But then this guy, Nick, he really is the elite of the elite. All right, let's head back down to the ground where it's the Magpies by 1 point. We're going for the bounce of the ball for the second quarter.
The only team to lead all of their 5 games at quarter time out of all of the teams in the competition, and that's now been broken with Collingwood leading by a point. It might be a good thing. Second term gets underway at the G. Steen won it down, went down awkwardly. Cripps off the ground, ball just floats out towards the wing. Hayward went in hard trying to win the football, as the Blues are desperately trying to do here. Perryman, long went in, won by Cowan. Hayward, good gather, and then was able to just break away from the tackle. Long, but the Pies have won it again. Crisp, and then Pendlebury's little bunt in the Anderson direction, and he was infringed.
Clever free kick. Just slows the play up. Look how many numbers get ahead of the ball now.
Anderson. Possession 5. Had a good first term. Now they're forced to pump long. 2 on 1. Elliott went really early. Just doesn't quite have the timing or the feel at the moment, Jamie Elliott.
Yeah, and you can see Perryman talk to Anderson, say that's not what we want. We don't want to go in quickly. We want to build the ball, get as close as we can to the 50-metre arc, then go in.
So Florent, that's a good kick. Spreads it out wide. Dean had that little question mark at quarter time, but he's out there. Walsh. This is a chance for Mackay. Backs back. So Mackay has a tricky option, this one.
Yeah, just needs to take his time. Left footer. Nice side of the ground to be on.
The kick from Dean was a beauty.
Yep.
To Cripps, and it just got them away in corridor, the edges of corridor at speed. He's going to be an asset for a long time.
The 2021 Coleman medalist lining up for Carlton's third. On the left is going to come around beautifully, and the Blues fans celebrate. They love it.
Glimpses of the future, Geordie. You just get to see little pieces of play from young players that say, yeah, now we're in good hands here. And Harry Dean, he's unimpacted by history, by the losses, and he's able to pull the trigger on that kick that some of the senior core players haven't had the courage to go for.
It hasn't been coached out of him, has it? And I think even though Carlton rolled to the skinny side of the ground, it still shifts the defence forward of the ball. So when that kick from Dean comes in board, the defence is going, well, this may go to the open side. So they shift, and even if it's 5 metres, it still gives the skinny side, the forward, some room to move. That's why that kick is so important.
Up in on replay, Harry Mackay's first after a couple of early misses. Pitner grabs it out of the ruck, only as far as Pendlebury. Gives it to game 100, Dacos. It's a nice mark in the air by Hayes, although it's spilt at the last possible moment. And Williams mops up. Mackay's looked crisp right from the start. Mackay and Hayward have looked sharp tonight.
He's on, Big Harry.
Yep.
It's as good as I've seen him move for a while.
Seeing them well.
It was well defended out of the centre bounce as well. Collingwood win that centre bounce clearance, but they end up wide and shallow. And Carlton have a chance to win it back.
Florent. He's got Weavering calling for it on the opposite wing. He goes short. Williams.
You just got to look.
He got numbers. Gives Mackay a chance to correct inside 50 whilst this is happening.
So Haynes to Weavering, to massage it along the wing. Cowan with a bit of close checking.
Keep coming at him. Play on.
So after they've battled just to win the football in the first quarter, they're trying to hold on to it as long as they can in this passage of play. No Mark Kemp taken to ground, and that's really stacks on, and the ball going nowhere.
Didn't give up, Maynard.
Thanks, guys. Back in this way, Ned.
He got blocked off the ball, but just didn't give up on the contest.
You've got to be ready here for McGovern for the quick squirting kick out of the pack and not let Howe outread you.
And it was long.
Touch, play on. Touch, play on.
Hayward. Walsh. Received it from Smith. Goes back to Cowan. High entry inside. Doesn't favour the forwards. Fist comes from a couple of pies. Opportunity opens up. Quick snap. Ainsworth. Blues start to turn nicely.
I really like the possession of Sam Walsh in that play. I mean, he's been criticised at times just to kick it straight away and not use his legs to bust through the tackle.
And the fight of McGovern. He's just fighting and scratching and nothing's happening in terms of the pure play, but he's in that contest and he follows up. And there's a little bit of a scrimmage at ground level. He's just there. It's just sometimes need that intermediate player that's been in a marking contest that can shake his defender. And that's great positioning from Ainsworth, isn't it? Just to get to the drop zone and be a potential option.
McGovern had some great ground level stuff last week in the game against Adelaide, especially in the first half.
Captain was good at the bottom of the pack too.
So the first two of the quarter to the Blues. Cripps just managed to sneak it out to Pettendev. Walsh. Smith was almost run down but got the kick away. Met hard, grabbed by Carroll, spears it towards Mackay. Then he wins the football. Can he do something a little bit miraculous? Close, but not close enough.
He had no other option. There was no one in the corridor. He couldn't hit anyone. But no time to rest. Straight back in.
Kicked the last 3 goals of the match, the Blues, the only 2 of the term. Carroll competes in the air. McCreary at ground level. Stripped away from Crisp. Gets another go now. Somehow got boot to ball, just said the umpire. And they pile on.
They feel energised, Carlton, and it seems like there's a lot of Carlton supporters here tonight who are enjoying what they're seeing.
Yeah.
It's a tough mark.
Well, it's chopping in the arms, isn't it?
Yeah. Pitnet won it, but then Cameron won it back. Sky ball. Newman had to hold his ground. Good courage under the football.
He does nothing else. He does nothing else. What a player this guy is for the Blues. They've missed him.
Weavering.
Oh.
Chera. Almost over-clubbed it to Williams, but was able to rake it in with that right arm.
Hit it to Harry. It's his favourite side of Harry.
So here is the kick. Sending it down towards the pocket. Avoiding Mackay this time. And it was either going to be Cripps or it was either going to be Kemp, and Kemp's come up with it. He's kicked the one already. That was the last goal of the first quarter.
Better angle, but similar kick is needed. It's a good mark.
So Kemp comes around, opens it up, wants a bit of daylight. Quaynor lunges at it, didn't get a fingertip to it. 2 to Kemp.
It was a really clever kick, Kingy. And you mentioned Harry Mackay, who's been on fire. So that's the play you reference. If you're a Collingwood defender, where's Mackay? And now he actions to go to the left-hand side of the screen and hooks it back around his body to the right-hand side. That's really hard to defend. Jeremy Howe's thinking, I had really great positioning. If I had gone to the top of the goal square, I was in great position. But the kick across your body to the favoured side as your forward is tough to defend.
And they've taken a bit of what Collingwood did in the first quarter, Carlton. They've just controlled the ball, blasted in at speed, put the game back. It comes back at speed at them if they play fast. That doesn't suit Carlton.
Only 3 of the term, last 4 of the match, the way the Blues out to a game-high 18-point margin. The Pies under the pump. Dean.
He's been good.
Williams. Newman breaks 1 tackle. Back to Haynes. Releases it down the outer wing. Evans comes from behind. Infringed. Advantage paid. Dacos. Chris, better from the Pies. Runs his measure. Looks for Elliott. Haynes. Just not going Jamie Elliott's way at the moment.
He's doing a lot of work, which is positive signs. But he's just not getting the reward at the moment.
It's Josh Giddey. Looks like the Olympic gold medalist Steve Hooker. Luke Tunnicliffe. All the big names are there.
So throw in Carlton with the last 4 on the bounce. One down by the Blues, but only as far as Elliott. Lipinski took his time to pick it up. He was grabbed by Hollands. And courtesy of Evans, he's just wobbled it out of defensive 50. Tumbling ball. Howe tries to control it. Then he hatches over the top. Then Byrne goes in. He's careful not to rake it underneath of him as well, and a ball up.
And that's as good a kick as you'll see in that situation from Evans. It did enough to not be an easy repeat inside 50. They got a lift here, the Pies. They got a lift around the action, around clearance.
Always interesting who they pay those free kicks to.
That's still Plotto.
Yeah. I'd love to play poker against Pitto. Doesn't hide much, does he?
Josh Dacos.
He's still having a go at him, you know. He's just going, you're kidding me, eh?
Still looking for those short options.
Yeah, but this is where Carlton are onto it. So that lateral kick Carlton are really onto. So once again, they'll just be forced to kick long.
Which wasn't happening in the first term. So kudos to the Blues defence. Wiedering comes through with a big fist. Lipinski overruns it. Elliott approaches it with some vigour.
Yep, so that's the change. So we speak about the pattern of the first quarter. So here the Quaynor, Frampton just watching on. Maybe you could have helped out.
Hit net down to Cripps, who just skies it. Long went the fist back into the congestion.
I love that.
Should have been taken high.
I love that. We saw it a couple of times last week. I think 3 or 4 times where the player lowered his legs and it was paid free kick. I love that it wasn't paid.
Anna could have played the old kick-to-kick, let your mate take a hanger roll with Billy Frampton on the line there, Geordie. He wasn't awake.
I'm sure how you played kick-to-kick at your place, but we didn't let him take hangers on us.
It would have been the latter.
Now the Blues, some run through the middle of the MCG. Out to the members' wing. Oh, the bounce is just kept in by Kemp. Hand pass to himself. Shade to KB again. He'll get it back, Kemp. Now pokes it out on the full. Not KB it in.
He did all that work to keep it in. He got himself...
It's out of bounds. Where's the arc?
Yes. Boiled lollies to hundreds and thousands in about 2 seconds. So back in the middle, it's Cameron's kick spreads out to Houston, minding his own business on the wing. Schultz.
It's a reasonable question, where's the arc?
Well, they used it a little bit earlier. Yeah, you're spot on. That should have been called back for a boundary throw.
So Schultz's ball right to the hot spot. Young had his sights on it. Fists it to Williams. And then Dean's kick was smothered. Good work, Allen, and out.
So how have they switched to Kingy that now Collingwood are being forced to kick long inside 50?
Yeah, Collingwood are not getting the uncontested marks anymore. They've taken 6 marks for the quarter, so it's living in contest or in Carlton's control. So challenge now firmly with the Pies to get this game back on their terms.
Through the hands of Cripps. Gets support from Florence. Lipinski throws himself into the football. As does Allen. Scoots out. Carroll appeals for a free kick. And that appeal is denied.
I think the other thing, How is the tightening of the teasing distance. So those kicks that you try and tease out in the middle of the ground, that distance is tighter. So they're just not allowing them to chip the ball around and control it outside their own forward 50.
Cameron pats it down. Schultz manhandled by 3 Blues. And a ball up.
Love to see Darcy get a bit creative. A few longer hits.
Cameron just tries to toe poke it to Crisp, who's foraging for it with Cripps, who gets a hat kick out. Evans exits D50 again. Kemp held his grounds. Maynard grabs him. Lipinski over the top of Josh Dacos. Houston grabbed by Evans and McGovern, and a stalemate.
Anytime you see a scrimmage like this, it favours Carlton. So the game in space, out in the open, favours Collingwood, and they've been able to drag it back into the trenches, the Blues.
It was plus 36 uncontested the way the Pies in the first term. That's how the game has changed. The Dacos boys combine. Again, it's a high ball. Elliott, he's not far away, Jamie Elliott. Schultz should finish. Does he get the bounce? Didn't quite get enough off spin on it.
Yeah, but it's a better tap by Cameron. Once you're against the second string ruckman, you've got the licence to be a little bit more creative. So the connection in that stoppage with his mids.
Gee, they look really vulnerable, Carlton, when they go to that second ruck.
Yeah.
The game turns.
So Newman, Wiedering, Florent. Work together outside defensive 50. Hollands tries to work his way to the front of the contest and seeing it out with Steele.
Is he going to pay that?
No.
Well, he kicked it and then he ran across and tapped it. And we've been educated that if he's not trying to keep it in.
So is it fair to say that the first couple of weeks the rule was going okay, but the players are now playing to it?
Exactly.
Unlike the players. Hack ball towards half forward for the Pies. Wiedering with the big fist. Crisp in the tunnel ball, handball.
Oh.
Just tumbled towards Dean, who was wrapped up immediately.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like much of a play from Dean, but he left his man Membry to just come in and diffuse the problem. That was outstanding.
And
he doesn't
took the
come.
tackle, Kingy.
Yeah,
Took the tackle.
he stuck it, didn't he?
Like, he didn't flinch then. Most young blokes would have tried to get rid of it and handball it out to space or do something silly with it. He knew he was going to get hit. He took the tackle, ball up. Perfect.
Last for the match, only 3 of the term. The Blues in trouble by a point at quarter time. Chera, just too much on the hand pass. Steele with a slight opportunity. He's tight on the pocket. Not able to screw it around anywhere near enough.
Move out.
So Collingwood are happy to challenge Carlton to take it full length to the ground. We heard Craig McRae in the pre-game. He said, look, we think we can put enough pressure on to force turnovers forward half.
Walsh, that had to be accurate to Ainsworth, or it was, and then he thought his man was running on. Grabbed by Nick Dacos. You don't want him to get it. Hits the post. And Arise smiling. Knew that would have been special.
Well, and that's what we're talking about now. Ainsworth's carrying on the mark, saying, what are you doing? But it's just not natural to them at the moment. This counter-punch game, the handball, the through ball, if you like, freezing them out on the mark. They just haven't mastered it.
Also playing on blindly as well and just not recognising what's further down the field. That's a good option.
Wiedering. Oh, gee. Millimetres in it. They might get out of it. Chris was waiting. Ainsworth. So a couple of errors and the Blues let off. And in the end, they get it to Chera. Squirts it out wide. And Cowan. Short ball's not really that good to Carroll. Oh, Howe slings him, and that's what the umpire says.
Yeah, no, that's dangerous, that one. Yeah. Didn't really hit his head into the ground, so...
50.
So there's a 50-metre paid as well. So this is going to bring Carroll all the way virtually to the goal line.
Somebody pointed to the scoreboard, apparently, so...
Okay.
So Carroll can just waltz in and slam it into the third row. So Carlton have kicked the last 5. 4 in this quarter.
I just wondered whether we're going to tighten up on dissent this weekend. You see there, the umpire there, Meredith. Someone pointed to the scoreboard, so that's 50 metres. So you're right, the tackle was really lucky. He didn't hit his head initially. It certainly went down, I think, by his own accord late. But this is the 50 metre. It should be coming up.
Yeah, just the point there from Houston. Yeah, Moons, you're all over it. I thought the kick from Wiedering was really aggressive.
Wow. They grab it out of the middle with the pace of McCreary. 45 ball in towards Long. Walsh attacks it. McCreary attacks him. Collingwood need to get going in the term. They haven't kicked a goal and have given up 4. And it's out to a game-high 21-point margin.
And they've got to get the ruckman back on. They've got to get Pitnet on as quickly as they can. He's ready to go. He's been on the bench for 7 minutes, and boy, do they look gettable right now in the ruck.
So up it goes, Young to Smith, who then just skies one towards Kemp, who's had a terrific second term. He was being held by Maynard for too long.
Geez, they both had a lot of jumper there.
Played that on
Here's Maynard.
We did point the other way.
So there's a bit happening. Maynard kick inside, attacking 50. Elliott waited at ground level. Haynes' kick didn't work. McCreary could have spent it before he was able to kick it. And now Haynes clears. Evans hugs the boundary line. And has he kept it in, Kemp? He has this time.
Well, he can go forward to Harry Mackay on Jeremy Howe if he wanted to. Just wants to slow it up.
Well, he's just kicked it straight to Collingwood. They've made 3 big errors this turn, the Blues. They haven't been made to pay so far. Can Lipinski reverse the trend outside the foot inside? 50 towards Schultz. The big fist of Wiedering now Cowan, and again the Blues get off the hook to Carroll.
See, they just can't make them pay. They're giving him a look, the Blues. It's aggressive.
Walsh to Chera off a step. Tumbling ball. There's always going to be Perryman's.
I tell you what, hats off for having a crack.
This is favouring Carlton, playing at this breakneck speed.
Houston out to Steele and out to Howe. In fact, Membry, I should say. Membry kick inside 50. No Mark McStay. Chera back to Dean, and that's handball towards Florin and out.
15 for Nick Dacos, 14 for Florent, lead for their respective sides. We love you, please don't go to Tassie.
That's where you'd love Steen to get creative once again.
Young. Steen. Young does well in the run.
He did.
Josh Dacos, slick hands back to Steen. Elliott's had a nearly night so far. Long keeps it in. Schultz handballs to a voice. Chera steals it off Crisp. Spots it down the line. Perry
Has to change the angle. Has to try and go around the congestion.
Houston around Carroll. And then floats it towards the corridor. It's a dangerous kick. Byrne went without it. Allen dropped it. Allen picks it up under pressure. Chance again here for Collingwood. McCreary off a step. It's not bad. And kicks it and breaks the drought for the Pies.
Well, he's kicked some big goals against Carlton. And I know that kick from Houston has great risk in it, but they had to try something different because they just kept going back into congestion. And it just gave their forwards a bit of space. That kick there, I don't think Pendlebury certainly didn't think that it was for him. But you see, once this ball comes out, Collingwood are owning the outside. You see there, McQuarrie, and then just gives himself some time and space with the skill level that he's got to make him pay.
Well, they'd had 13 inside 50s for the term. That was the first opportunity taken. See, it's an ugly game. He's just waiting for a bit of composure to come from either party here to just separate things. Collingwood had it early. Carlton have taken control, start a second. Are we seeing the Collingwood fight back right now?
They break a run of 5 goals away, the Blues. A couple of Collingwood players sit back as the Blues wrestle amongst themselves. Williams, bodies thrown in everywhere. No one able to get it clear.
Got the big ruckman back on the ground, Pitnet.
Pitnet and Cameron negate each other. Allen fires the handball out, grabbed by Ollie Hollins, Cowan, Newman, Cripps. Doesn't know quite what to do with it. Wants to give it to Newman. Eventually back it goes, and then straight down the throat of Cameron. So there's a little bit of indecisiveness there.
Yep, that was who he was trying to avoid. Right in the middle of it. John Dacos has been manned up.
Move it on, play on.
Oh, outside of the foot, he's placed to long. Goes back to Dacos. Runs through to Lipinski. Favours Haynes. Just can't get it right.
That last kick.
trigger kick.
Yeah, spot on, Howie. It's that last kick going in. You just feel the frustration for Collingwood. They're doing everything else but putting them away inside 50.
was his strength last year, Lipinski, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Inside 50 kick.
Yeah.
Newman, 13 disposals so far. Smith, Cripps, into Smith through the wing, and then good spotting. Spreads it wider to Byrne, then floating on by is Newman. Kick inside, attacking 50. The big men fly, falls to Haywood, scrambles a kick away. It's going to sit up in the Carroll direction. He had to hold his ground, and he did well.
Well, I just love the contest work from the big boys in the forward line from Carlton. If they can't mark it, Geordie, they're not getting intercept marks. There's no doubt about that. Howe's been well clamped in terms of the aerial work down there. And this term in particular, you know, the D50 intercept marks for Collingwood, they're yet to take one. That's a rarity for the game.
It's 22nd match. He's kicked one tonight. 6 touches so far. Carroll comes in, and that's not his best effort.
So credit to Kent, Mackay, and McGovern just for bringing that ball to ground.
Play on.
Howe favours the members' wing, easily taken care of by the Blues.
It's good spoil. Clear the area. Lewis Young.
Leighton quarter. This is where Carlton have been vulnerable the first month of the season. Can they find? Got a good lead, 16 points. One more, icing on the cake just before half-time at suit.
Pittman uses his body. Dacos, hands and knees. Combines with the champ Pendlebury. Now to Crisp. Takes some ground, and Wiedering, they're just such a better cohesive backline when Jacob Wiedering's out there for the Blues.
I don't think he'll be trying to pick one off in the middle of the ground with this kick after his last one. Jacob Wiedering, bit safer.
He's going to go round the world this time, down the wing. Mackay with the fist off the boot of Long, deflects into the air. Newman had to be quick and was over the top. And now the Blues through. Chera just scrambles the ball in the half-forward direction. McGovern, fit net. Cripps wanting the free kick. Smith is there for assistance. Little work from Pendlebury was good. Dacos, and now through the middle of the ground, Howe. Out he goes in the Membry direction. So Collingwood's building here late in this second term. Short to Lipinski. Next kick is interesting. He's going towards the pocket. Through the fingertips of Schultz. And there to mop up Wiedering.
There was some sleight of hand by Pendlebury in the middle of the ground. Perryman called to go and does. Houston, Lipinski, back to the aforementioned. Shoved as he kicked it. Out the full.
It's a big 2 minutes. It's a big 2 minutes. Carlton just need to find a way to take some time off the clock here. I think they'd be wrapped just with a 0-0 draw for this remainder of the second term.
It is good pressure.
Collingwood are really pressing here.
You can see the pressure meter there for the Blues.
They're out.
Been pretty high as Collins. That kick had to be accurate. It's going to sit up okay for young Byrne. The young man has a bounce with some confidence. He's going to just scramble it towards half forward and easily mopped up by Howard and Maynard. Now to a 50-50. McCreery has to work, so he has to go the diffusing fist.
Got to be better than that, Byrne. I mean, you've got clear and obvious targets, even a kick to advantage going inside 50. A high ball was required if you want to go to the tools, but he had options inboard. Just part of his growth. Handle that moment better next time.
I believe it's still no scores, no goals from stoppages in the first half. Everything has basically come from turnover. One goal from kick-in for Carlton, but it's been a turnover game.
Chris taps it to himself. Long tries to release McCreery. He'll try and use his pace and does. Just sprints past Haynes. It's been a kneeling night for Elliott. Can he turn it into a nice finish? And it stays a kneeling night.
See, that's as good an opportunity he's had for a while. I was ready to mark that one down. He generally banks those.
He's low on confidence, isn't he, at the moment, Jamie Elliott?
So the big roost outside defensive 50. Mackay got a handball away only as far as long. Nick Dacos, quick work. Crisp, McCreary in a tight spot. So he just hacks it forward. It's very high, hard to come up with it. Deflecting ball. It's going to sit up for Williams, who gathers. And he can just bunt it in the Hayward direction. It bobbles off his chest, gives the Pies a chance. Membry, then Perryman! It's a behind.
Just got to be better than that. Yeah, it's way too casual from Williams. There's a minute to go in the quarter. You've worked your tail off to get this position, and you're just really casual with your ball coming out of defensive.
They're trying their hardest to stuff this lead up, King.
I reckon they've made 4 major errors and Collingwood haven't been able to make them pay, Kingy. Through the middle of the ground.
Yeah, you're right. And they will. You know, Collingwood are better than this with their punishment game. It's just I'm not convinced either coach will be absolutely thrilled with the way the game looks. But Vossi would be wrapped to be just over 2 goals in front.
Closing stages. Still time. Crisp. Got a bit high on Smith. Pendlebury. It's a little boot on it. Well, that's got to be high.
Stand! Stand!
So we go the way of Byrne.
Let it go!
Collingwood led by a point at quarter time. The Blues kicked the first 4 of the turn before McCreary replied. So it's a 14-point lead to the Blues at the major break. They've led plenty of times at half-time and haven't been able to go on with it, David King. Is this the night?
Well, they look invested in this one, there's no doubt. The coaches were able to drag the Carlton game back into contest in that second term and serve them well. They look to hold all the aces, but you know Collingwood are going to come. You know what this game's going to give you. Collingwood-Carlton, it's never say die.
Cameron Mooney.
Well, we just spoke about Collingwood at quarter time about their work inside 50. Well, it was Carlton that quarter, wasn't it? They're big boys. Kemp and Mackay. I mean, Mackay's kicked 1 goal, 3, but it's just his work in the air. They're both of them, in all honesty, their work in the air has been outstanding. A hell of a lot better than what's been going down the other end. And you give these boys a chance, I tell you now, they're going to kick a winning score because they are marking most things that are coming their way. And if they're not marking them, well, they're competing extremely well, getting front and centre. So I think it's up to those 2 boys in this second half to get on to a good score.
Carlton lead at half-time here by 14 points. Doubleheader, we already heard about the Cats and the Dogs. You can only see both games on Fox tomorrow night. Then it's the Battle of the Bridge. Heaney, Toby Green, Clayton Oliver and Cruz. Both games tomorrow night on your home of footy. That's Fox.
You're watching Thursday Night Footy on Fox.
All right, there we go. Hey, Teddy, how you doing? Hey, Fim, yeah, surprised Carlton's leading. Well, Carlton usually do this. They get out and do pretty good the opening half of games, but then they just stop. We'll see if this is the occurrence in this game today. But it's Carlton 6-5-41, leading the Magpies by 14 points. The wayward Magpies, who should have kicked a few more goals, they just couldn't kick straight. 3-9-27. Tell you what, Carlton did all they could late in that second term to get the Pies an extra goal or 2, but the Pies just can't capitalise that last kick going into their forward 50. They're struggling with so badly. This game seems to be being played on Carlton's terms just at the moment, but although Carlton are 14 points up, I tell you what, it's still probably not good news for Carlton because Collingwood's still got a lot to offer in this game, and I think they can turn this game on its head just with a little bit more composure. But Carlton doing really good up until half-time. There we go. It's 14 points the margin. Just for you Carlton fans, look away Collingwood fans, I will redo the live ladder with Carlton leading now. That'll drop the Magpies. If the Magpies win, they'll be up to 9th. If they lose, they'll be down to 14th. Carlton will be up to 15th. Still sitting 15th on that percentage. That is the live ladder as it stands. The goal scorers out on the ground up until half-time. We've only got one multiple. Of course, that's Brody Kemp from Carlton. He's kicked 2 straight goals. Good to see someone kicking accurate. 2 goals for him. Harry Mackay's got 1 goal, 3. A little bit inaccurate for him. Will Hayward, Matthew Carroll, Ben Ainsworth, all singles there for the Blue Baggers. For the Magpies, Oscar Steen's got a single. Daniel McStay, Bo McCreary bobbed up with a nice goal in that term. It's a low-scoring game, folks. Low-scoring game, as we see, 6-5 to 3-9. Only 9 goals kicked up until half-time in this game so far. Disposal magnets out on the ground. Still Nick Dacos doing its way. 9 disposals in that second term. He's up to 20, the only one in the 20s at the moment. 8 kicks, 12 handballs, 4 marks, couple clearances, 1 behind that hit the post. My gosh, that was a ring-a-ding-ding. Next best for the Magpies, Pat Lipinski on 16. Best for Carlton, Nick Newman on 16. 4 off Nick Dacos's 20. There we go, Harry Perriman on 14 as well for the Magpies. Let's just roll down a little bit. Find your favourite player. Zach Williams, Jager Smith for the Blues on 12, as with Adam Kira on 12. Scotty Pendlebury, the old boy, he's on 12 also. There's a few on 12, and the next few on 11. Ned Long, there we go. Josh Dacos on 11, 1 behind also. 6 and 5 he's had. Jacob Wiedering working hard in the back line there for the Blue Baggers. He's had 10 touches, 7 kicks, 3 handballs, 7 marks all in that. So he's going pretty good down there. Sam Walsh for the Blues just on 10. We'll come back to this in just a moment. Let's head back down to the commentators for a little bit of analysis on the opening half.
Starts, mind you, but they have been good. And what's been pleasing, I think, is there's a little bit of different methodology about the way they're getting their scores on the board, and it's not coming from clearance dominance, Joe.
No, that's right. It's a familiar tale to be leading at half-time, but it's unfamiliar in the way that they've been able to do it. It hasn't been a Carlton game really at all in regards to how they like to play and what they have done. You can see the stoppage numbers there, such a low clearance stoppage count in that first quarter, a few more in that second term, but everyone's seeing the way the game is being played, both teams controlling the ball, a lot of the game played between the arcs, not a high inside 50 count in particular for Carlton. They've only had the 17, but what has been impressive is the way they've been able to score, and it has been through the turnover game. So you can just see some of the numbers all in Collingwood's favour in regards to the uncontested marks and the uncontested possession in that first quarter, Jason. But Carlton were able to control the ball and get it sort of more in their hands in that second term.
Yeah, and the great part about that is once they started to win possession, the Blues, they started to transition the ball well. They created turnovers, and their D50 to forward 50 transition started to reap goals, and that's something we just haven't seen from them. So I think that's really positive, something for the Blues to build on.
We're going to have a look at some Harvey Norman highlights surrounding Harry Mackay. Jace, we spoke before the game about the need for him to stand up to own this forward line. He's only kicked 1 goal, but he has taken a couple of grabs, and at least he's providing a presence down there.
Exactly. So we said he's got to compete. He's done that. He's got to take some contested marks. He's done that. We also said it's a little bit of a raffle with his shots on goal, and he's done that. So he's given us basically everything we hoped for. That was a beautiful set shot, that one. A couple of others that he perhaps could have kicked, but I like the way he keeps presenting, and even though he doesn't take the mark there, he butters up, he creates another scoring opportunity, gets another shot for goal. So he's looked dangerous. He's been good.
Brody Kemp's kicked a couple of goals as well, and in a similar vein has provided a target.
Yeah, the Blues forwards are certainly beating the Collingwood defenders, which is their hallmark, but Mackay's beaten Frampton. Jeremy Howe looks just out of touch at the moment. I think Perryman has clearly been Collingwood's best defender, but a few of them are getting beaten. So if Carlton can get more entries and get more supply, I think their forwards are feeling pretty good about themselves at half-time.
They've been able to score off turnover, which is something we haven't been able to say of them a lot lately, Joey. Have a look at those numbers there. They're big.
Yeah, well, normally it's massive from the clearance game, but tonight they have been able to score off turnover. And, Jason, they've probably left a lot of points on the table with some poor kicking just from individuals coming out of that back half, particularly in the first quarter and a couple of times in that second quarter. So if they can get the right players' hands or they just take better care with the ball, they're going to continue to give their forwards some looks.
It really was a big turnaround. I mean, from that first quarter to the second quarter, we showed some numbers there, but as Joey was just talking about there, they butchered the footy coming out of defensive 50 in the first quarter. As soon as they started to make better decisions and execute a bit better, the ball started to fly from one end to the other. You could just see the confidence in the Blues players thinking, we can actually score once we get it.
Does it become, I think the coaches spoke before the game about that contagious nature of one mistake can be compounded and more, so just getting their confidence back.
Well, but the same applies when you do something well.
Yeah.
That becomes contagious. When you see the results, all of a sudden you go, well, this actually works if we do it right. So they made some mistakes early, they put that behind them, and then they started to hit some targets, move the ball well. It's been a different looking Carlton. Can they do it for 4 quarters? That's what we're waiting to find out.
That is going to be the challenge now. Being in front, how do they play the second half? I'm sure Michael Voss is reinforcing the positives, what they're doing well, continue to do those sorts of things. Now it's just up to the players in the psyche. When the pressure's on out here in front of 80,000 in the second half, can they continue to execute what Michael Voss wants them to? Because there's 4 points right there for them if they want it.
Our Ashley and Martin proper play ends with an Ainsworth goal. It was a decent build-up here.
Well, this was one of their better build-ups where they were able to get involved. They are challenging again. Collingwood, their ground ball inside their defensive 50 has been an issue all year for the Pies. They've been beaten just in the air but at ground level. This is an occasion where they got the numbers to the contest. Cripps doing what he does best. Ainsworth getting to the right spot, and they were able to continue to put Collingwood's defence under pressure.
What about the Pies forward half game, Jace? What are you seeing here?
Well, they've been absolutely loving the fact that they're creating scores from forward half turnovers. So they've been able to keep the ball in the forward half, and they hadn't been able to score from this source leading in. So all of a sudden you're having a look here. Forward half intercepts, 17 already.
And that's the great. How much of that's great Collingwood defence, or how much, as we touched on, was Carlton mistakes and Carlton skill errors? There's always a combination of both, but that is what Collingwood want to do. If they can get field position and challenge Carlton to come out of defence, they still know they're going to get good looks because they will turn the ball over the Blues.
Very much still game on here at the MCG as we welcome in John Ralph from the midweek tackle. Ralph here with thanks to HBF Health Insurance. You've got the team changes for tomorrow night. We've got a double header tomorrow on Fox Footy, but the Geelong and Bulldogs game will be huge in Mark Blitzarv's 300.
No doubt, and the Stars are back down the highway as well. So Ed Richards has been named off that ankle injury of gather round. I can tell you that he will take his spot in the side. So Tom Liberatore comes back with a hamstring. We expect he'll play as well. So Paddy Dangerfield comes back. First game in about 5 weeks alongside the 300 gamer in Mark Blitzarv's, but no Brian Myers with a knee injury. So tomorrow's second game, the Sydney Derby, Dane Rampy has been managed. Brett Daniels caught up okay, but a 5-day break with a hamstring, so he won't play. We already know that the concussion victims in Canelio and Cadden are out for that clash. So Jordan Dawson will miss against St Kilda with that family tragedy for Hawthorn. So a cork calf for Jack Gunston, he won't play. We know that Marbion Chol is out, and they take on Port Adelaide. So that Zach Butters appeal will take place at 5 o'clock on Monday. We'll be all over that one. Port Adelaide, their chief executive Matthew Richardson said today, we need a complete overhaul of the tribunal. He called it a legalistic and adversarial process. So food for thought there ahead of an appeal for a $1,500 fine.
Big weekend of footy lying ahead. Thank you very much. Ralphie, Joey, dare I say it? The rain is falling. I did tell you at about 9 o'clock.
Just a couple little raindrops, Sarah.
It shows who spends their time on the boundary and who doesn't. But if it is wet in this second half, what does it mean for the contest, Jace?
Well, it becomes more of a contested battle, so we won't see as much fluent movement from one end to the other. We've seen teams try to use the corridor when they can, take on a few kicks. You'll see less of that. Hopefully it's just a brief shower. If it is anything, we don't want heavy rain, that's for sure, because it's actually been an interesting first half. Something different from these two teams that we haven't quite seen. And I mean, it's a movie we've seen before with the Blues, isn't it? Playing well in the first half, having a lead and then falling away in the second half. So we want to see the way they can run out 4 quarters and continue to commit to what they're doing.
Joey, inaccurate kicking from the Pies in front of goals 3-9. They need to tidy up their work inside 50.
Yeah, they do. They just need to finish their plays. It's been an issue for them all season long. We've spoken about it offensively going forward, whether it's just finding that last mark, whether it's kicking that goal. You saw there the 17 forward half intercept should give you good looks. Just got to find ways to finish. If they can probably kick a score as well. So this game's still up for grabs. Obviously, Carlton in the box seat at the moment.
We might get used to talking cliffhanger, Jackson. It is game on here at the MCG, and on Monday, AFL 360 will review everything that happens out of the round of football. And then on the couch, the heavy hitters with the big opinions, 7:30 p.m. You'll have your weekend wrap-up covered right here on Fox Footy.
All right, there we go. That's it, Paul. Second of the ball. Yeah, as I said, the delivery's not going really well going inside forward 50, kicking it to 2. Our shorts on their talls, it's just not happening. So I think, you know what, I think they might, let's just hope it's Collingwood of old. We'll see them rectify that in the second half. It's going to be really interesting. If they can do that, and the way Carlton has been stopping in their games, it's really going to be a test to them to see what they can do. But if they can certainly come out in the third quarter kick the opening 2-3. That's going to put the nightmares in the Carlton players' brains of them stopping. So we'll certainly see what happens at the bounce of the ball in the third quarter. Let's get back to some of the stats of your favourite players. As I said, Jacob Weitering, Sam Walsh, both on 10 there with Will Hayward and Patrick Cripps, and Lockie Cowan there for the Blues, all on 10. Jeremy Howe on 10, 9 kicks for him. Jack Crisp, just a bit of a slow game from him for the Pies. He's had 10 possessions, couple clearances. Mark Pinnay, one of the ruckmen there for the Blues, there we go. He's had 9 touches. He's had 10 hit-outs, 3 clearances. Darcy Cameron, the other ruckman for the Magpies, he's had 13 hit-outs, 4 clearances, the 9 disposals. Harry Mackay looked reasonably okay out there today for the Blues. Just a 1-goal 3, but been pretty good so far. Rowan Steele, just 7 touches there for the Magpies. Lockie Schultz still needs to come into this game a little bit more. He needs to bull his way through a little bit. 7 touches, just a 1 behind for him. As we keep on rolling down, Jamie Elliott there. I tell you what, nothing going right for him today. 6 disposals, 5 kicks, 1 handball. He's had 1 behind. Got the ball, had a good shot on goal, snapped on the left foot, hit the post, so not things going quite well for him. There we go, Daniel McStay, 1 goal from 3 disposals, 1 kick, 2 handballs. Mitch McGovern, 3 touches, just a 1 kick and 2 also. Just having a quick look at the team stats before we get back there. Well, the Magpies were up on the disposal count. Carlton had most of the ball in that second term, 195, 193. They're plus 2 on the disposal count. They're kicking a little bit more. They're plus 15. Magpies are plus 13 in the handball. Inside forward 50s, Carlton doing pretty good. If you look at that numbers, they've only been inside forward 50 17 times, but they have had 11 scoring shots. Looking dangerous when the Blues go inside their forward 50. Magpies inside 29 times. They're plus 12 on the inside 50s, but still trail 3 goals, 9, 12 scoring shots, 11-12 there. Disposal efficiency, still not too bad for both teams, up at 70%. Carlton's efficiency inside 50, though, 70.6. That's well above their season average, so they're going really good there. Free kicks, reasonably good contested game here. A 7-10, just a 17 there. The hit-outs, Magpies plus 3 in the hit-outs, plus 4 in the clearances, and most of those come from stoppage clearances. They're 11-8, plus 3 there, just a plus 1 in the centre clearance where Collingwood is winning that battle, 5-4. Just looking at the uncontested possessions, contested, pretty even in that term. Carlton still plus 10 in the contested, so their coach, Mickey Voss, will be still pretty happy with that. Uncontested, all tied up at 126 apiece. As the turnovers, Magpies turning the ball over a bit, but still the count isn't too bad. 31-30, still under season average for both, so that's pretty good. Marks inside forward 50, 6 apiece. Contested marks, Carlton better in the air, 5-1 in the contested marks, and 5+ in the marks overall, which goes there. Looking at the tackle count, Carlton certainly did lift their pressure, their tackle count in that second term. 39 there, they're going above season average nicely there. Collingwood's still under season average 27, 39-27, plus 12 to the Blues. Just a 1-4 tackles inside forward 50 for both teams. So there we go. Teams running back out onto the ground now in preparation for the bounce of the ball for the second half, the third quarter. Tell you what, we're about 2.5 minutes away. So instead of me just jibber-jabbering, we'll take you back down to the commentators and they will run us into the bounce of the ball for the third quarter, where it's the Blues leading by 14 points.
And address it. I think the hardest thing for a side like Carlton is you just cannot predict what will happen in the second half. So you need the leaders out on the field to try and work out the flow of the game and what's happening, and then try and educate the other players, but you can't panic, which they've panicked in previous games. So all those games that have happened this year, you've got to take learnings and put it into play.
I really love what Nick Newman's done to this club. They've missed him sorely over the last 12 months. Third game back, he's been everything for them down back. He's locked away Schultz, who's a dangerous commodity. He's just had 7 touches. He's kicked 1 point. But he's created 5 score involvements from deep down back. Now that's a huge number. You generally don't get that sort of connection. And right now, Carlton have scored 25 points out of their defensive 50. That's their best for a half of football for 10 years. So this is something they don't normally do. So they're finding a different way to win when challenged by Collingwood in terms of the way the game was set up by Craig McRae. So that's an outstanding return.
I think if we look down the other end of the ground, the challenge will certainly come to the Collingwood forwards. They've had ample opportunity. 29 inside 50s for the half. They had 61 last week for only the 5 goals. So you look at the key position players, Dan McStay being targeted 5 times inside the forward 51 goal. Memory only 1. So I'd like him to get in some more dangerous positions, still yet to hit the scoreboard. Elliott, 5 targets inside forward 50 for a point. So they need to get going, and they certainly haven't been starved of opportunity.
So this is the 31st time that the Peter Mac Cup is being played between these two arch rivals. And if you want to donate, you can use the QR code on screen. The Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre. Back in 1993, this match was initiated, and Collingwood won the first of them.
So do you feel it's more of a physical challenge or a mental challenge right now for Carlton?
100% mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where you need to lean on your leaders, isn't it? Your leaders need to be so strong in their first 5 minutes of football here to set the tone for this second half.
Yeah, and understand and look around at your teammates and see whether they're drifting. I think it's only natural to drift off and think what may happen, but you've got to bring yourself back into the present moment and not think about what might happen in the 4th term, late in the 4th term. Every single possession has to be played in the moment.
Are you mentioning it to any of your opponents if you're a Collingwood player, Geordie?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Geordie didn't stop.
You use any type of advantage you can get. You might not run with it in the 3rd term, but their challenge will come. There is no doubt that challenge will come when Collingwood get on a roll. And let's see how they react.
Well, this is Carlton's very best midfield mix. Cripps, Walsh, Chera and Pitnet the ruckman. This is where they have to stamp the game themselves on the game and take the game away from the Pies.
So it was Collingwood by 1 at quarter time, Carlton by 14 at the major break. Pitnet catches it out of the ruck, and then Cripps just skies one towards full forward. Mackay wrestling out the side. Evans had a touch to it. Kemp through his legs back to Big Harry, and then McGovern. What a start! What a start for Carlton.
Well, Big Pitto grabbed it out of the ruck. I love seeing that. And he knows his limitations. He pops the handball to Cripps, and you get a decent inside 50 opportunity. And again, they don't mark it, but they bring it to ground. They're really struggling to take an intercept mark behind the ball, the Pies. If you look at the D50 work tonight, and I think it's a credit to the Carlton forwards, yet to take an intercept mark in the defensive 50 are Collingwood. That is a rarity. So look at this ball coming in. Now, normally you see Howe flying for that. Frampton's been great. Howe even goes the double-fisted punch. That's how rattled they are down back.
It was a big centre-bounce win. It's amazing that that's the first goal from stoppage throughout the game, but he did this last week. Found himself front and centre, converted.
Kick 6 of the last 7 of the match, the Blues. Walsh rips it out of the middle, wobbles it forward again. Maynard, the Pies defence under pressure. McGovern tries to claim the mark.
Had a fair chunk of it. Under pressure again, the Collingwood backs.
Cameron and Pitnet. Dacos can get a clear possession. Falls to Chera. Nice little step. Chera, can he finish? Oh, he did the good stuff but couldn't quite nail it.
So I think this is the other challenge, and we've spoken about Collingwood in the first half. Can they win the hard ball but also control the outside balance?
So the Blues with 2 scores in the first 42 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Pitnet, Newman. Back to Wiedering, it was, I should say. And then Carroll just spearing one down the throat of Ainsworth. And then the kick towards the top of the square to Kemp, who's had a good night so far with 2.
Yeah, he had to make him work for it, but that passage of play on the wing with Wiedering was exactly what I'm talking about. The Collingwood players got sucked in on the inside trying to apply pressure, and then they were able just to get the ball onto the outside, which allowed them to transition.
done some clever things, Carroll, hasn't he? Some really clever bits of play. Could have easily fanned that out wide to the boundary, but took the risk. Paid off.
His 7th season as a Blue. Brodie Kemp, they've come out firing, wind in their sails, the Blues. And from 35 metres out, makes the goal umpire work.
Yeah, they're the opportunities to create good energy. So not only to put 6 points on the scoreboard, but to create good energy throughout the group.
All the talk's been about Carlton's ball movement. Collingwood have scored 3 points out of the defensive half tonight.
And they trail by a game-high 22-point deficit.
That's the young man Carroll again. So they haven't been as fluent. This is why we talk about Nick Dacos a lot. Is he of more value behind the ball, charging out with express speed and getting them going? I think they need to look at where they can apply him right now.
When they're averaging 69 points in total a game, Kingy, and at the moment they're 27 in the third term. Again they go forward. Mackay fisted off his chest. Florent tries to step through a pack. Pendlebury creates space, as he so often does. Now Perryman, Lipinski running out of that aforementioned space. They're under pressure, as you can see by that, just through the hands of McCreary. Now Chera. Another opportunity opens up for the Blues.
Ainsworth kept it low. It's a good kick to Kemp. And then there's a man in a hole. It's Evans.
They're all at sea down back, the Pies. It's probably as disorganised as I've seen them. And you accept that because Darcy Moore's not there and maybe he saves them a bit, but there are holes everywhere. And you could just see, as soon as that handball come in board from Chera, they just opened up everywhere.
So looking for his 2nd goal of the year, Frankie Evans. Big kick. From about 47. Just a zephyr of breeze, and in the end he's glanced at left, has been marked on the line. So Cameron can clear.
The team that struggle to put sides away don't want to miss these opportunities. The Blues, a couple of gilt-edged ones go begging, and they'll get another opportunity here. Coward now gets his chance. Plays on. Drops it into the pocket. Maynard, there's a hole.
He just didn't need to do it. I mean, Harry Mackay initiated contact, which is great, because then you force Cameron in this instance to react.
They need a conversion here.
Yeah.
And that's, we'll get back to that in a moment. But this is when they need Harry to stand up for this football club right now. Need a conversion. They've had multiple opportunities, start of third.
1 goal 3. A couple of opportunities have gone begging. Mackay from the angle right across the face. 3 chances, 3 behinds.
It's leaving the door ajar. You know they're going to come at some stage, Collingwood.
The drop punt just does not look like the percentage play in that instance, does it? There's not too many people that do it.
So Howe leaves the square, kicks it long. Pitnet at the front, and then off the boot there of Cameron, and that should be lassoed.
Pitnet's charging forward. Look at him get the goal square. I'd kick it near the big man. He just looks like he's commanding the football.
So Cripps searching further afield. Pops it up high, and good defensive mark by Cameron.
Yeah, it's a couple in a row to Darcy Cameron.
Harry, keep going.
Short was sweet for them in the first term, but there was none of that in the second. Run off half back. McStay out bodies Wiedering, which is no easy task. Falls to Chris, gathers it nicely, takes on Chera, gets him. Well done, Aaron Chera. Just got a boot to it. Haynes also caught with a footy. Now Dean, who looks so calm when he has football in hand, and Wiedering on the stretch.
That's a great call. It gives you a lot of confidence when he gets the ball, Dean.
At the Walsh, who dances around Perryman, and then has a crack at Hayes and beats them both. And then in the end, pops it up.
Good fight back from Perryman.
Big moments these in the game. Can Collingwood strike after some Blues misses, or can Carlton put them away? Another turnover chance in the middle of the ground. Maynard buries himself, makes up for the mistake. Pendlebury gives it straight to an opponent. Rarely seen in his career. Carroll.
Well done.
Now Ainsworth. And he misses the target. Howe goes in perfectly.
So Anderson has a man out there in Josh Dacos. Inboard Perryman. Perryman with plenty of time. McStay on his chest. So plays on, he sees a man laterally and he just gets no purchase on it at all, and then Shearer's almost turned it over. So a few errors here. Walsh over the top, Ainsworth, and now Newman for the Blues.
Just pops it up in a space. Howe tracks it back, misses the lot, as you'd expect in this passage. Goes back to Frampton. Now Cameron. Houston. Lipinski just kicks it between two players. They might need to check the footy. Some weird stuff happening at the MCG. Josh Dacos. Now Crisp. Sends it forward. Memory just hand passes to space. Elliott, he's had one of those nights. Does he make the most of it? Jamie Elliott. Finally some quality rises. And here come the Pies.
Yeah, well, it took a bit of class from Jamie Elliott. As we see the Harvey Norman replay, there was mistakes everywhere. They just couldn't hit two kicks in a row. And that's been his toughest angle yet tonight. But he's had a few opportunities, Jamie Elliott, so that'll do his confidence a world of good to finish off what was a great 5 minutes of play.
It's like two boxers fighting with their gloves down. No one can actually land a blow, and up steps Elliott. We've missed him. We've missed him in this form, haven't we?
Wiedering just took his eyes off the ball and was retreating, and Jamie Elliott went back to the ball.
So back in the middle. Vigo went early. McDacos back to Steen. Now Long. Off a step, an awkward step it was. No Mark Cowan. Elliott came through. Wins the football back. Little chip to Hayes.
Could this be Jamie Elliott's half? You know, as a player, when you see the ball going through the big sticks, you just get that little bit of confidence. So, once again, he's involved in this piece of play. A great little deft touch. Inside forward 50. A little bit of composure.
Just stay out behind me. Thank you.
Kicked 13 goals from 15 games in the VFL last year. After playing a couple of AFL games. Big kick for the young man. He's going to put it right up there in the square. Steen had a bit of it, and Dean's trying to close it out, and eventually it's going to be a stalemate.
Well, it was his alone in the end. Steen, wow, it was a really aggressive approach to the footy.
Cripps having a spell on the bench. Cameron, Pitnet. Collingwood looking for two in a row. For the first time in the evening, Williams hacks it out of defence. Byrne does really well. Outmarks Houston. Now can assess from half back.
Yeah, no, Collingwood set up really well forward of the ball.
Burns' fourth match tonight. Ainsworth.
Jeremy Howe's the deepest spare.
Switch if he wants.
He goes short to Kemp.
Go to Haywood.
So Kemp's kick.
At least they're equal forward of the ball now.
Carroll has a run, wheels and goes. Now who's that going to? It's going straight to the corridor, and he's everywhere all of a sudden. Hayes.
Mistakes by foot, searching ball to Cameron. Goal piece this turn.
They need to try and get the ball to this side if they can.
They got it in the right hands. Pendlebury, he's got three pies. Now Quainer. Crisp if he wants him. Runs too far. So he sends it deep to Schultz, who's got off Dean. He just drops his head a touch. Schultz tries to step Dean and does. And then just wobbles it forward.
It's a great second effort.
So Wiedering crosses defensive 50.
Just a little bit of composure here from Carlton. Just a kick mark for a little while. They just look like they're blasting the ball. They're really rushing, particularly forward of centre.
There's a lot of guys gassed down here at the moment, Kingy too, so maybe just take the air out of the game. Just control it for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Outside 5.
So Florent happy just to steady things at the moment. Kick towards the contest. Hollands went down in front of the pack, and then Mackay took the mark, and he's going to give full penetration on the kick towards Kemp, and frustratingly he says, why didn't I mark that?
Been really good tonight, Harry. It's going to read as a 5-mark game. Kick a 1-goal 4. It's the only blemish, but geez, approach on the footy, exactly what you want from a leader.
Cameron and Young. Young gets a fist to it. Chera. Back to Young, ripped off the football. Nick Dacos coming up for possession 23. Pendlebury getting involved. They can split it further wide. Dacos will continue to run now to the hands of Schultz.
Goes inboard to Houston. Some big moments now, halfway through the third term. It's there to be won in front of a big crowd at the G. Schultz thought about going lateral. He's got no one to kick it to. So the short option was the only one. Crisp. So back he goes.
Well, this is what they did in the first term with great effect, and they're just trying to tax Collingwood here defensively.
So Frampton out to Josh Dacos as the keepings off continues. Then Howe eventually darts it out to Hayes, who's doing some good things in the third term. Called to play on. Chip in the Membry direction. Couldn't quite complete the mark. And then Florent dragged off his kick. Dean in a tight spot. Hollands in a tight spot. Play on's the call. It's still in play. And now it's not.
It's good forward pressure, though. You're right, Kingy, just forcing Carlton to defend for long periods of time.
But unlucky there, Elijah. That would have been his first disposal for the night.
Keep an eye on Jamie Elliott. Haynes has got that job. Elliott on the move. Comes to the middle. Walsh. Chain of hand pass too much for Hayward. Another error. Could come back the other way. Josh Dacos likes something. Look for penalty. Just too much juice on it.
Well, once again, they can go to the open side. Just a little bit of delay getting back up off the ground.
So Williams. Cowan. His man Haynes telling him to go forth and go long, and then he tries to get it to the man who still hasn't had a possession, Elijah Hollands, and missed the target.
It's almost like they've brought the stand rule in this week for Carlton. They just haven't been able to function at dictating terms to the stationary man on the mark. They've made error after error with that basic play.
Outside 5. Play on.
The brothers wax.
They're trying to get it to Steen deep.
Got Harry Dean beside him. Steen and Dean. They lob it up for the young Tyro. He's caught behind a few at the back of the pack. Cameron might work out to Membry. It does. Pies have got 2 in a row. Carlton and their fans just starting to get a touch edgy.
Well, it's the big boys not only doing the work in the pack, but front and centre. And Membry just slips out the back when everyone else was concentrating. So no other option for Long other than kick it deep and trust the forwards will create a contest. So it was Steen to Cameron to Membry. And you're right, this is where Carlton have doubted themselves. So it's important. The next 3 minutes, you just see there, Pitto in front, gets a little block from Jamie Elliott, so he's not able to impact that contest.
They've asked for trouble with their ball movement and their poor ball use, Carlton, and Collingwood have answered.
So things just getting a little bit tenser here as Dacos is taken well by Williams, who wins the football. Smith then just probes it along the ground.
Long ball towards half forward and a free kick going to Collingwood. Cameron. So Collingwood press here. They've kicked the last two. He's thinking about going long.
On the blue.
This time it's in the hands of Steele, and then the fly by Josh Dacos' kick was smothered. Long and Smith there scrapping for it. Long just dropped the football. Dean under pressure. Back to Smith. That was a bit of composure, and out towards Kemp. And Howell, who takes the mark.
Laterally to McCreary. Collingwood building again. Carlton missed opportunities. Collingwood looking to take theirs. Perryman's got a job to do. Defence comes. Allen ripped off the footy. Important ball to be won. Lipinski dives on it. Thrown forward by hand. Another contest. Cripps, good man to have in that position, sits over the top of it.
He got that stuck between his legs. I think he's gone here.
The problem. He's not happy at all.
It actually caught between his legs.
Anderson.
Into the pocket, Cameron.
Just sends a high ball, sliced it. Wasn't meant to go in that direction and favours the Blues.
Well, let's see if the Blues can hit 2 targets in a row, bringing the ball out from defensive 50. This is a big ball. Oh,
Kemp. It is a big ball, and Steele stole it, and in the end it's come off. So it's still going to be a Carlton ball. There's some anxious moments here. They'll get another chance.
I'm starting to feel for Vossi.
There's more mistakes here than the back nine at the Masters on Monday morning. Kemp, front position. A lot of players camped around the footy.
All right, let's see if they can get their clearance game going now. Let's get the captain to go to work.
So, Net eventually goes by foot. Steele just scooped it along the ground. Could have almost been a throw. Dacos, Long, Steele, still in play. So Smith gathered. Newman hugs the boundary line. Cripps the meat and the sandwich. Fell to Josh Dacos. And then a little butt towards Lipinski. Wasn't caught. Hayward inboard. Florence. So Hayward through the centre. Long probing ball. It's a good kick inside 50. And the young man Burner's got it.
What a kick. That was a great pass to the middle of the ground from Hayward. He saw Byrne was out the back. He could have easily kicked it wide to the boundary to favour him, but he drew him back with the kick. Just watch this kick here. He just pulls it back, corridor side out the back, and forces him to lead back corridor centric.
So on a big night where the two arch rivals are playing each other, two powerhouse teams in the AFL competition, we had Hayes at the other end, the young man going for goal for Collingwood, and now Taylor Byrne, who can make the most of their opportunities. That's a poor kick in the end, and like this, no, he hasn't missed, he has just scored. Better ball movement though, turning back towards corridor where all the space has been. They just haven't been able to use it.
Just keep giving the ball to Collingwood. They're going to make you pay.
Runners on the outer side. Schultz receives it, can go. Nick Dacos has sprinted about 70 metres to get this footy. Keeps it in. Stops and props. Williams tries to corral him. Back to his brother. Little wobbler. Anderson, good tackle, Cowan. Now the Blues, can they launch something off half-back? Scrubbing ball will work out. McGovern looks inboard.
Burns there in front of Quainer. He was being held, or in fact pushed, so it's going to be play on. Mackay met it hard. Evans from 49, round the corner, big chance the Blues. McGovern can just stroll in and go bang. He's kicked two. And a little sigh of relief from the Blues supporters. It's back out to 18 points.
It was risky by Big Harry. Pulled back across the corridor, and in the end they got a little bit lucky, but fortune favours the brave, I guess. We haven't seen any pure play really from either team for about 40 minutes. That kick there, incredibly risky. But in the end it plays off Was it McGovern, was it?
Yeah.
It was McGovern.
Just forward.
Yeah.
I think probably the two pieces of play that you miss. I think Williams corralling Nick Dacos and didn't overcommit. And then it was the Cowan tackle at half back. It just stopped Collingwood being able to go inside forward 50.
A settler for the Blues comes at the perfect time. 3 on the clock. Anderson, end over end. Newman. Young. Wobbles it. Quaynor reads it best off the boot.
Quaynor. Interior. Steen, Maynard, Perryman. Perryman lifts the eyes and over to McStay. Him on the chest, lace out.
It's a good kick in the end. It was really the only option he had, with McStay just ducking back up.
So McStay with the 1 goal so far. Take a good effort. Not a bad effort, look at that. Straight through the middle. He's kicked 2. Game on at the G.
It was an important answer from a Collingwood standpoint to be able to go back down and score. And once again, you get access to the corridor. You involve your half-backs to be able to use and run. And then the kick from Perryman, he couldn't go long to the top of the goal square. You see there, Newman and Haynes. He didn't want to kick it to them and then have to defend again. And it was McStay, just a little tick-back lead. Wiedering probably anticipating that the Perryman kick was going long.
Collingwood by a point at quarter time. The Blues, 14 points to good at half time. 12-point margin. Pitnet extracts it out of the middle. Quaynor gets a little slap on it. Carroll's had his moments. Drives it forward. McStay, Frampton's been a good battle. Evans at ground level. Throws himself on a pile. And he gets him.
Yeah, he dived on it. And they just sort of sat off him and then hunted after him.
Once again, it's a good contest by Harry Mackay. And I think initially Frankie Evans got past the contest, has to come back.
Carlton, 10 metres.
Yeah. Once you dive on it and drag it back in.
He's been involved in a lot, Harry, hasn't he? On 1 goal 4 personally, but his ability to get a second opportunity for Carlton has been first class.
Set shots this term, Carlton 0 goals 3. Can Evans reverse the trend? The number 44 strikes it well, kicks the goal. The Blues are all around him, and again, can't respond.
I think last week, Kingy Michael Voss said he won the Players Award, Harry Mackay. And it wasn't kicks, marks, handballs, it was just doing the basics like that really well. As soon as you drag it in and it doesn't come back out, it's an easy option for the umpire.
All right, you're Craig McRae. What do you do with Nick Dacos now? I feel like you have to send him forward. I feel, he's not really getting high volume in the middle. He's had 5 disposals for the third quarter. They need a match winner in the forward half. They're screaming out for someone to take control of that forward 50.
3 goals apiece in the third term, back in the centre.
Pitnet's having a say too.
Anderson and Smith hit hard. Elliott tried to use McCreary, who went on by. Then Haynes' hack kick towards Quaynor. On hands and knees, came out to Smith. Pitnet, Walsh through the centre. Throws the right boot. Inside attacking 50. Frampton just got a glance to it, which was important. Fell to Maynard, who exits defensive 50 with a little chip looking for Dacos. He cleverly waited back and then got the football. Won it for the Pies and goes back to Allen with a long searching ball towards half forward. Elliott couldn't quite take the mark. Coming in hard, Williams. Elliott off the ground. That just kept the ball moving. Then Anderson tried to reply in kind, but it was trapped by Haynes.
Haynes kicked hurriedly, had a bit more time and space. To Chris, 12 seconds on the clock. They need to take a mark. Memory! Schultz over the back, Anderson. Time gets away from them. The Blues fans want the siren. Houston hand passed it. He would have thought he was a chance. Maybe Houston would have to launch from 55. Hayward with some courage over the footy.
That was awesome from Hayward. You know, doesn't have to be your night in the forward half, but he put his body on the line there. Big clash.
All set up for the last term. You know the script. Can Carlton reverse it? They lead at three-quarter time over the R-Tribals, 9-9-63 to the Pies, 6-9-45 by 18 points. Double-headed tomorrow, kicking off at GMHBA Stadium. Bailey, Jezza and their mates take on Sam Darcy, Norton and the Bulldogs. You'll see both games tomorrow, the doubleheader on Fox.
All right, three-quarter time. We've got an arm wrestle here at the MCG. 18 points the margin. Blues in front. Can they hang on in this ring-a-ding-ding? Well, I don't know whether it's a ring-a-ding-ding. It's a battle. 9-9-63, 6-9-45. The Blues putting on 3 goals, 4 in that third term. 3 straight goals to the Maggies. Tell you what, yeah, well, I still don't know who's going to win this game. You've got that feeling that the Blues might hang on. There we go. Let's have a look at the goal scorers up until three-quarter time. For the Magpies, Daniel McStay's got 2. Oscar Steen, Tim Membry, Beau McCreary, Jamie Elliott. Singles for the Blues, Mitch McGovern, Brody Kemp, both multiples. They were both with 2 goals apiece. Harry Mackay's got 1. Will Hayward's got 1. Francis Evans, Matthew Carroll, Ben Ainsworth. The goal scorers in the opening 3 quarters. Leading disposal getter. Still Nick Dacos up on top of the table, 26 disposals. Not really having his big impact he normally does, even though he's got 26, 10 and 16, 4 clearances, 6 marks, 1 behind. Harry Perryman having a pretty good game there with the orange boots for the Pies on 22. Nick Newman, best for the Blues, on 22. The Blues might win, I tell you what. This is, let me just scroll down there, Addy G. This is... Paul, this is, I tell you what, this is looking like, I know the Pies played another game. I just can't remember who they played, but it's what can you say? It's a couple of the worst games I've seen them play in seasons, tonight and one of the other games early in the season. I just can't remember who that was. There are your, whatchamacallit? Stats for your players there. But there we go. Hey, don't forget, football coming up this weekend. Football coming up while we three-quarter time. Couple of big games tomorrow night. A couple of ring-a-ding-ding games. Geelong taking on the Western Bulldogs down there at GMHBA Stadium. That's a 7:20 start Melbourne time game. And, of course, the Battle of the Bridge, Sydney and the Giants, 7:50 tomorrow night. The SCG, you would think Sydney will give the Giants an absolute spanking tomorrow night. And, of course, Geelong Western Bulldogs, that's going to be a cracking game. Saturday, of course, you've got the Gold Coast at home taking on Essendon. I think Essendon's 1 streak win will come to an end, where the Gold Coast will take control up there at People's First Stadium. Saturday afternoon, you've got Hawthorn versus Port Adelaide. This could be a game where Port Adelaide could sneak across the line. Mark my words, if they're big odds, get on them. Let me just have a look and see if I can see. No, I can't see the odds for that game just at the moment. But I tell you what, that could be a boil-over game up there. And, of course, Saturday evening, you've got Adelaide taking on St Kilda. That's going to be a cracking game over there in Adelaide Oval. Sunday, North Melbourne taking on Richmond at Marvel Stadium. That's going to be a good game. You would expect North Melbourne to be a little bit too strong for the Tigers. Sunday afternoon, Melbourne taking on the Brisbane Lions at the MCG. But the big game comes up, Fatty G, that's the West Coast Eagles. Fremantle, I think West Coast can get the job done there over Freo. Maybe, I don't know. They could, Eddie. It's going to be a good game. The derby over there in Perth. Who's going to win that game? I think that game, we might actually cover that game if I'm on the Freo Flag Mantle game. That's going to be a cracking game, I reckon. Hopefully that's going to be a tight one. Paul's going for the Eagles. Yeah, I'll be online with you. We'll be all cheering for the Eagles. We'll go boo Freo on Sunday. just for Addy. You never know. Look, they've been playing all right, West Coast, but you would think Freo would get up in that game. It should be a good game. Should be a packed crowd. Anyway, hey, that's enough of me jibber jabbering. Can Carlton hang on here in the final term? They're 18 points up, but we know Carlton. They stop like they've got an anchor on them. That's how much they stop. Last quarter, jitters. Can they overcome the jitters of knowing what their past has been held, whereas they go in with leads and they falter each time? But then again, the Magpies, they're not playing good brand of footy. Can they actually do something in the final term? We're about to find out, folks. We're going to head back down to the ground where the action is happening. We're only a moments away from the bounce of the ball for the final quarter here at the MCG. Let's head back down there now.
Well, if it is to be, it is up to me. It's the old famous Ron Barassi saying, and I hate to say it, but I think it's Nick Dacos all bust again in this last quarter. He's had 26 disposals. They haven't been at the normal quality that we expect from Nick. But I can't see where else it's coming from. The rest have looked a little bit patchy in and out of the game. He's had 4 clearances and only 4 score involvements tonight. He's kicking inside forward 50, hasn't been his best. But in this last 30 minutes, it's going to be the little champ that'll mount one last challenge in his 100th game.
So great atmosphere at the MCG. Collingwood by 1 at quarter time. Carlton by 14 at half time. And 18 to commence the final term. Can the Blues grip on? Steen won it down. Nick Dacos along the ground. Schultz, crisp. Nick Dacos settle out early. And then round the corner, Cameron. It's going to hang for a while. It's still there. Look at Dacos right on the line. If it is to be, it's up to me. The 100-gamer.
Well, he took a risk, Geordie, didn't he? He just kept following it. I mean, incredibly deep for a midfielder, but he's got a licence to do whatever he likes. He knows what's likely to happen. He got to the drop of the ball in the goal square just quicker than his opponent. Here they come.
Oh, I think he checked himself, though. Like, he didn't realise or want to go that deep, but there was so much space in front of him. And just there, Schultz brings the ball back into the middle of the ground. Dacos probably could have got it back off camera at the start, but great contest forward of the ball from Elliott to keep the ball alive. And then he shows up. Watch him get on the move here with Steen. He's got good connection.
David King telling you what to look out for before it happens on Fox. Big contest in the middle. Big clearance this.
It hurt the big fella.
Pitnet with strength. Walsh shrugs, one tackle, second's got him.
Yeah, that's stiff.
That's so stiff.
Anderson, mature body.
Angus good,
Anderson, my word, he has. Across from Sturt, making an impact in the black and white. Deep ball, Haynes. Wiedering. They don't want it to squirt out here. The Blues, they try and hold it in and do so successfully.
Pitnet. Collins span it out. Nick Dacos. Crisp in a tight spot. Round the corner from Steele. 2 on 2. No mark taken. Carroll's there foraging after it. Haynes. And now in a tight spot. Wiedering's going to just again kick it high and hope. Quaynor with the fist. Crisp the Pies press. Josh Dacos off a step. Floats it back towards goal. That's a mark. The big O. The young man stands up.
He just wants it, doesn't he?
It's great physicality, but to do it legally and at the right time. See there, Harry Dean just takes front position. Just too big and strong.
6 touches, 1 goal so far. He's kicked it. He's kicked it. It's back to a goal.
I mean, it only just snuck through, but it doesn't matter. It's great physicality. Starts in the ruck. Darcy Cameron starts forward. When that ball goes to Dacos, he just recognises where the ball will drop. Wiedering's too controlled by McStay. Can't get back onto the ball.
It was his second effort though, Geordie. 30 seconds prior, he'd nearly taken a single mark in the square.
Hurt his shoulder, then went to ruck and then goes forward ahead of the ball. It's important he just doesn't let Pitneck grab the ball out of the ruck, but he's been competing hard.
On the last 3 clearances, the Pies.
Nick Dacos and Cripps, who can rip it out of the middle. Steen, he's aggressive in the middle. Got a big leap on him. Ball trying to squirrel its way free. It does to Nick Dacos. He's lifting the Pies. Outside the foot, Elliott, too much for him. Wiedering, he'll run around McStay. Needs to hit a target on exit. Kicks it straight to a Pie.
Steele has adrenaline's pumping. Just needs to make the right decision.
So the wheel and go to the congestion. There's blues everywhere, but there's also a young Pie. A young Pie in Hayes.
Well, this is exactly where Carlton didn't want to be.
Well,
and they find themselves in it.
The two youngsters for the Pies, they'd be loving that. Hayes and also Steen have stood up.
It's great positioning. So you put the ball into an area where you force Carlton to make a decision, and it's a soft drop, and he gets to the right position.
And you avoid Wiedering. This kick avoids Wiedering. He just pulls it just short. Wiedering can't get there. McStay holds him out, and you get the contest against lesser Carlton talent. Clever play.
Do you think Wiedering needs to read that earlier and leave his direct opponent?
It's not how he plays.
Carlton faced around clearances. They've lost them 4-0 this term. Dacos, another clearance from Steen. Dacos, it's got a nice ring to it. McCreary, don't argue. Hand pass it to space. Cameron, Lipinski doesn't really time it. Wiedering, the last gasp. Penny for your thoughts.
Well, they'll be worried in the crowd at the moment, the Carlton fans. But this is the thing, so for Carlton, their mentality needs to be, we need to score next, but not now. So you don't need to rush yourself.
So Ollie Hollands.
Just take a bit of sting out of it right now, Louis.
Build the ball up.
That's the boundary. Hayward's kick's dangerous. Anderson was angry at the football that time. McCreary trapped it. Has to be careful. In over the top, Ainsworth, and a ball up.
And that is not the kick. That is not the kick that you need.
Cameron trying to get physical. Cripps. I don't know how he got rid of that. Dacos.
He's everywhere.
He's had a big turn, hasn't he?
This is number 7.
7 disposals already. Scoring multiples and a goal. Dishes off. Elliott hands it back. Another one for the Pies. Lipinski in the number 1. 4 in a row. Shake your head all you like, Carlton fans, but the Pies are coming.
But I just can't believe what the little champ's doing here. He's had 7 disposals in about 6 minutes of footy. He's absolutely everywhere. Michael Voss has to try and clamp him. They've got to get someone to run with him. He's out of control, and even when he's gassed and on his backside, he's still setting them up. You just have to be here to see this guy play. He is a genius. They might win this by 6 goals yet, Collingwood, the way they're playing.
So 6 clearances to 0 in the final term. Doesn't get much more emphatic than that to kick off the first 7 or 8 minutes. There goes Steen again. Dacos, Chris, they're all involved. Elliott comes charging at the football. Florent there, he's got to be fast. McCreary's got him. Cripps, then just hospital pass, hoping for Hollands. Deflects off the body of the Pies. Comes back to Cowan over the top. Hayward has it under pressure. Back inboard to Hollands. Now Cripps running along the wing. Tries to get it back to Hollands. Does it eventually, and then Houston affects the tackle. They're hungry for it at the moment, the Pies.
Sting's tap work in the middle for a young ruckman.
He's got great touch, doesn't he?
Yeah, just anywhere near Nick will be fine at the moment.
Carlton need to respond. They simply must respond here. Hollins tries to clear the footy. No room to operate.
You don't say this much about Chris, but wrong hand to handball the ball as well.
7
Poor
clearances.
technique under pressure.
7 in a row to the Pies.
Hollins stands beside Dacos.
Mark Darcy.
Good him.
Arms off.
Yeah, Holland might be the man to try and stop him. He's just gone to half forward, Dacos, just for a little spell.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam.
He's going deep forward now. He's out of tickets.
Arguably even more dangerous down there.
Yeah.
Hit net to Walsh, now Cowan. Round the corner, Harry wrestling with Frampton out the side. Josh Dacos, good, quick gather, quick hands. Was classy to Maynard. And then to Steele hugging the boundary. It's going to come back from whence it came though. Cowan inboard to Walsh.
Walsh relays by hand. Inside 50, Pearson, Mackay, Perryman. Got an important hand on McCreary. Presents the don't argue, nearly got one. Underneath it, Young.
Mackay down too.
Injured player.
With that big clash with Perryman.
Yeah, you would assume it was Perryman's arm that came across with the spoil. Right across the chops.
It was a tough decision. I didn't see. Just get me a 10 to 2 by trainer.
For the ball first, it looked like, and then his forearm.
He's in a bit of trouble, Harry.
Nick Dacos' turn. 8 disposals, 4 kicks, 4 handballs, 4 contested possessions, 3 score involvements, 3 inside 50s and a goal.
Oh, he's been unbelievable. And to be fair, it had to be him. The game was meandering from a Collingwood point of view. They were set to lose this game if he didn't stand up as emphatically as he has.
So, Young.
Can't get it through the mark. You have to go behind him. Stand. Yours.
Young's ball. Fletty trying to grab it. Kemp grabbed by Maynard. Flips there and a ball up. I don't think Harry really knows what's going on at the moment.
Well, I think they're trying to get him downstairs. Really? Looks like he's about to. No, he's just going to the bench now to sit down.
Well, the rucks collapse. Hitnet was clever to tap it along. Walsh, Ainsworth dragged off the kick, and then the toe poke out's going to work. Elliott tried to communicate with his teammates, didn't hear him, and then it was Carroll back to Young from a standing start, and then a one-hander from Perryman.
He's been good too tonight.
Love that as a slips catch, Howie.
4 goals of the term away of the Pies after Carlton led by 18 points. At 3/4 time, McCreary, Nick Dacos has been held. He'll go back another shot. No, he dishes it off. Elliott sneaks it forward. Elliott on the back of his man. Nick Dacos nails it. 5 in a row for the Pies. They're up by 13, and everything towards goal is touched by Nick Dacos.
Well, if you're in any doubt that it was the best 99 games you've seen, if you had any doubt, he's put a full stop on it tonight with game 100, and this 4th quarter has been sensational. You can play him anywhere. He just attracts the footy. Look at this. He still takes the mark. He's been impeded all the way through. It's a poor matchup, to be fair. Holland's out of the goal square. They've got to sort that out better than that. It should be Newman. But what a play it was. What a star.
I love that they haven't taken him off. And they said, just go rest deep forward.
Mackay's gone down for the HIA, guys.
15 touches for Elliott, 2 goals, 1.
Elijah just getting it wrong there on the wing.
Warning to Carlton, 666. Throw it up.
So Young towards Cripps. Long worrying him out of it. Young off the ground, inside attacking 50. Haywood grabbed, got rid of it. Ainsworth, who's in a similar situation earlier. He doesn't miss too many. They're still in it, the Blues. He's kicked 2. Gee, they needed that after Collingwood had kicked 5 on the bounce.
They finally get a centre clearance, the Blues. And a toe poke forward from Young. He's come down from the Gold Coast with his finishing abilities around goal, and Ainsworth kicks it second.
Yeah, and there's some confusion out here with Hollands on the wing. He's not sure where he's actually playing at the moment. Finds himself forward now. 7 points.
Carroll came from the bench. And I think this is the conversation that should be happening out there with Carlton. They're still in the game. As much as Collingwood have had the momentum and the scoring power.
So much time left. Walsh now with the job in the middle on Nick Dacos. Steen, Houston, McCreary to the run of Quain. A great forward hand pass. Pendlebury, a sumptuous little step. Now Anderson has gone long several times inside 50, so he's happy to trap it back to Pendlebury. Houston, long kick of the football, Dan Houston. Waits and assesses. Pierces it in the pocket. Membry. He would have had it. Schultz took it off him. Dacos again.
Well, at least this forces Carlton to play aggressive football now. They haven't been able to hold on and save games. Now they have to attack. Free themselves up and play with some corridor aggression.
Steen at the front. Young, maybe a little nudge. Not paid. Florent tried to hack one off the ground. Hot football to win. Smith, Cripps, working hard as always, and then just a wobbly one, and that's coming back.
It's got to cut off the 45s now. Not allowed Collingwood to chip the ball around.
Frampton's got Howe. Got runners out wide. That's where they like to go, to Allen. That's what they did in the first term, the Pies.
Yeah, and they'll play the clock now. They'll give Carlton 2 enemies. The scoreboard and the clock. Anything north of a goal, they'll be happy to take time off.
Pinsky in the end. Bombs it inside. Elliott, front position, Wiedering. Calm. Cripps. Shoots it out. Carroll, he's had a good night. Pushes off Lipinski.
Nick Dacos back inside the stoppage. Lipinski's free just off.
Steen tried to get it to Dacos. Flicked up by Long. Dacos again, getting involved with a couple of possessions. Dean. And then Ollie Hollands just smacks it outside defensive 50. Kemp kept the football at all costs. Cripps, Smith, Walsh, Florent, blazing through the middle. Ainsworth, Byrne dropped his lollies. Baino put enough pressure on. Frampton taken in the end by Pitt, netted a ball.
He just had to keep his width. Byrne had to keep his width. He tried to come back through. And he saw the Collingwood play there and he just panicked a little bit. Quaynor it was.
Still so much time on the clock. First fall the way of the Pies. 18 points down at three-quarter time till Carlton responded. Houston, now Schultz, who can be clean and calm. Dacos is still deep. Alongside Cowan. Wiedering's tracking that way to help his mate.
So be careful not having too many spares in defence, Carlton. So squeeze the ground a little bit.
Perfect from Howe. Houston.
Just not sure about the matchup of Hollands on Dacos when he goes forward.
The keepings off with Maynard and Frampton.
He'll get his opportunity again. It has to be Newman.
Howe gets his target with Perryman. And now Allen.
Outside 5. Me.
He's doing it proficiently as Membry has the football. So now a bit more of a centering kick. Almost to Anderson. Pendlebury dispossessed. Walsh, Smith on the overlap. Cripps, Byrne had to be fast. Williams looks left, looks right. No one really to kick it to. Side of the boot works. Ainsworth towards McGovern. Can Maynard wrestle him out of it? What a good one-on-one this is. Maynard virtually won the football. Ainsworth off the ground. Quaynor back to Crisp. And the Pies are out.
Big moments in a big match. Pendlebury waits for the footy to come to him. One step. Just plinks it forward.
They sort of get to this point, don't they, and just control the ball. Happy to chip it around, as Kingy said, suck time out of the game.
10th disposal for Quaynor. Now to Houston, who's had 22. Has a good night. McStay, just a step on Dean. So almost a replica of the first term from the Pies, where they had that many uncontested possessions around the ground.
Back on meter. Stay out, Ben.
So they'll have to go long. Good decision.
And time.
Towards the pocket. Out the back, there's some holding going on. And it's going the way here, the big quads, Jacob Wiedering.
Yeah, and they're trying to avoid him if they can, but sometimes you just have to take him on.
This kick has to be deadly accurate. Cowan. They run it outside through Florent. And up the ground, no mark from Kemp. Good spoil on him. Smith didn't hit the target in Carroll. And then Anderson, beautiful spin out of the pack with the football. Dacos has two on him, and now he's in isolation. Wins the football. He's in everything. Elliott.
I'm not sure I've seen a better quarter for a long time. That's disposal number 12 for Dacos. He beats two on that occasion, but Anderson coming flat out, clean take. Simply amazing.
So 15 disposals, 2 goals, 1 Elliott. So strolls in, beautiful kick, raises the roof at the G. But what are we seeing from Nick Dacos with 38 touches tonight? He was involved in that again.
Ice cold from Jamie Elliott. Nick Dacos, last 4 games versus the Blues. 2 3 votes, 2 2 votes, 100 games tonight, and he's playing one of the great quarters. The work from Anderson, though, at the start of his career, Jordan.
Yeah, no, he's proven that he's got toughness. We probably spoke about that last week, but you just see there, it's like going 10-pin bowling, 2 pins fall over, and there's one left.
Yeah, I'd have to say, this is incredibly poor coaching to leave Hollands on Dacos when he's forward. Every time the ball's gone to him, he's been beaten. Every time. Newman had to be a matchup that they had to explore on the guy that has ripped the game out of their hands.
Jamie Elliott had a nearly first half. He's kicked 3 in the second half. Dacos in the middle again. Just expect the footy to go to him the way the term's been.
And the other thing is he's playing midfield centre, so he's not necessarily getting hard back, so he's challenging. You see there, Hollands certainly forward of the ball.
12 disposals for Nick Dacos for the term. McStay in good position, did all the hard work. Ground level, McStay wobbles it forward. Dean, just a calm head on young shoulders.
Everything looks dangerous for Collingwood forward of the ball.
Cowan's kick is dodgy. Newman, he's got a lot of work to do here. Williams out of trouble with Chera. Look at Anderson trying to hunt them down. Kick outside 50 with composure was good. Pitnet, Florent, 50-50. Carroll at the back, set himself, took a good strong grab.
Got good numbers forward of the footy here, the Blues.
Yeah, can go if he wants to.
Needs to go in a hurry. The leads come at him. Elects to go long. Hayward. Cameron grabbed his head. Umpire said, let the boys play. Frampton, nervous moments over the footy. They squirted out. Howe ducked in a tackle. Gone!
Well done. Great harassment. 2 and 3 efforts there from McGovern. And he just hunted him down. And Howe had to wait for the ball and he knew he was in trouble. Just didn't have enough time. He got the arms up and he was just bear hugged.
Not going away, the Blues. An important kick this though for McGovern. He's kicked a couple.
I've never seen a forward stay down and miss their opportunity to have a shot, Howie.
No.
He'll find.
I think he'll come good.
Yeah. He'll find.
He's kicked 2.
Well, thank you.
5 goals to 1 for the term. They're up by 18 points at three-quarter time. A familiar story for the Blues. Can McGovern bring them back within 7 points? Should be able to finish McGovern. They missed opportunities at the other end. McGovern's kicked a third. And there's still a half-beat for the Blues.
.540 is a long time. It's a long time. Now, this is where Collingwood historically have been so professional in shutting the game down. So if you can't allow them to just keep the ball in tight in the contest and repeat ball up after repeat ball up. You've got to try and hit to space. You've got to try and explore the width of the ground, but be aggressive with your ball use at the same time. It's a catch-22. A strange night, Elijah Hollands. He's played 70% of game time and hasn't touched the ball. Haven't seen that for a long time.
The Peter Mac Cup fought in front of 78,058 people here tonight.
A bit stressed.
So 666 infringement, and it's going to Collingwood. Steen with the long high ball. Can someone mark it? Off the fist. Cowan overruns it. Schultz won it. Long. Dipsy Doodle around the corner. Tip towards the top of the square. Elliott waiting at ground level. Hayes went without it. Dean. Cherrer under pressure. Surrounded by Pies. Wins it back. Evans fumbles. Elliott. Lipinski. Back to Elliott. Quick work. Hayes again. Anderson. Membry.
So good, the Collingwood pressure. They just couldn't get it out. The smother on Cherrer put him into panic. And then they just stayed composed. Found the handball chain, got it going. Here it is here. Look at the harassment. First from Elliott. They win it back. Lipinski puts it back into traffic. Slick hands from Elliott. Hayes to the outside. Anderson, who's been brilliant. And then the clinical finish from Membry. Outstanding. Forward 50 harassment from the Pies.
As soon as that rocket handball went from Cherrer and the ball hit the ground, the Pies just came in and swooped. Pressure, and then it was just bang, bang with handball, and great finish by Schultz.
9 goals, 4 half turnovers, the Blues. Dacos got them going. They need the next goal, the Blues. They give up the next, and they're just about cooked. Opportunity, bouncing ball. Maynard stands underneath it. Sleight of hand to Quaynor, who was quick. Now crisp, and now Collingwood will be happy to take time where they can.
Well, they've got no Mackay, now no McGovern, who's down here getting his calves worked on at the moment, so they really don't have much of a forward line, Carlton.
Josh Dacos with a couple of disposals there.
You just see Carlton squeezing right up. So no spares, force them long, try and create the turnover.
Kicks to a wall of players. Fitnet with the mark.
He's just got to go straight back inside his forward 50.
There's the short option, Cherrer. He lifts his eyes, ignores one lead, so just kicks it to the hot spot. The big fist from Howe. Fell to Dacos. Flicks it out to Long. Thinks about going laterally, then kicks to a 50-50 down the line, but Dean was in the best spot.
Needs to go. Does Harry.
Stand.
Hollands. Everything's got to be perfect now for the Blues. Hasn't been their way in last terms.
7-goal quarter from the Pies. I thought they couldn't score.
Stand. Play on.
Hollins searches inside 50. Lipinski favoured. Crunched by Hayward. And now they can soak up time.
Stand. Come on. Yeah, yours.
Lipinski, Schultz, 6s and 7s picking that football up.
Rock dominate. Mark Darcy.
So throw in. There'll be a little flick over the back if Pitto can get his hands on it. So the clock, the enemy for the Blues here. Pitnet, Cameron, just got a fingertip to it. Anderson's kick deflects off a body. Dacos, and he handballs it out, and the boundary umpire says touched. Carlton think it's their ball, but it's not going to be a throw in.
Yeah, I think it might have been deflected off the handball.
Time now concerned, just 3 minutes on the clock for the Blues. Walsh gets off Dacos, who looks exhausted. Man from Ocean Grove drives it to the flank. Hayward kicked the opening goal. Could work out. Oh, called to go. Didn't expect it, Carroll. Didn't matter. Finished. Life, hope, Blues. Carroll's got a couple.
Yeah, absolutely. Game on. 8 points. 2 minutes 46 to go. Plenty of time. So it was Walsh from clearance, driving his legs, getting the ball forward 1v1. So it was Young that just created a contest. Lucky Carroll turned at the last minute and was able to finish.
And Lucky's a left footer. It favoured him in the end to just be able to pull it back across his body.
So the big question is, boys, where did Carlton score? Mackay's off the ground. McGovern's off the ground.
I think you just got to trust who's down there. And if it's even numbers, they've just got to compete.
And they've got to gamble. Midfielders have got to gamble. They've got to charge. Maybe it's Walsh.
Pitnet won the tap. Crisp there to gather, but he was taken in a good tackle. Scooped up by Williams to Cripps. Blues press again. Ainsworth had to be fouled. Lipinski all over him. Holding the football.
What a tackle.
Great pressure.
He took the risk to come in off the wingman, who was holding his width, and just nailed him.
Oh, it's lucky not to give away 52.
Had a great night, Lipinski. 26 disposals. The goal running constant around the ground. Pitnet trying to keep the Blues alive, sweeping back from Wiedering to Haynes. Walsh just over 2 on the clock. Walsh caught, gets the hand pass away. They're running out of room again. He sweeps it back. Wiedering, take 2 to Haynes once again. Pendlebury with a defensive fist. Now here come the Blues. Ainsworth spits it out wide, effective. Carroll kicked the last. He's already got 2. This to bring it to a 1-point margin.
He's going to take it. He's going to take the shot. Back yourself in.
Matt Carroll. He's kicked 2, kicked the last from 50. It won't be a goal. Right to the dangerous area. Quaino kills it. The old important point.
This is where you just go man on man. If you're Carlton, shut down every option. Squeeze the ground.
Don't give them wide. Guess who?
So Pendlebury. A card head required.
Yeah, got to guard all pockets.
Howe. Carlton trying to keep the Pies locked in. So the kick to clear, defensive 50. Dean went the fist. Williams grabbed by Nick Dacos. It's going to be a ball up with 53 seconds left on the clock.
That's Pitnet and Cripps just talking on the way over. Can he get a clear hand to it?
He looks sore, Nick Dacos getting up off the ground. Chera's got the job. Pitnet and Cameron. Less than a minute to go. Walsh with dash. Caught again by Dacos in the tackle. Last possession, be careful. Walsh off the ground. Byrne keeps it in. Little underground hand pass. Pies want it out. Evans wants it in. Ball stays in. Tight on the line. Massive moments. Stacks on the mill. Clock ticks and stops at 29.
He's got to smash into the corridor here. Pitnet's just got to take the risk to fist this as far as he can into dangerous space.
So the ball up, Pitnet with a big fist. Evans not quite. Cameron grabbed. Nick Dacos is there. Crisp dropped it. Cripps grabs it. Elliott grabs him. Out of play.
Well, it's probably a good result for Carlton.
Get on the fly.
Yeah, to get it off the boundary.
Florence got to go. He's got to charge through from a defensive position. Ainsworth setting himself to charge.
It has to be left hip or over the back.
Who can be the miracle man for the Blues? Free kick! Off the footy! It's against Josh Dacos. And it's going the way of Byrne, who will probably kick. 15 on the clock to tie it up. The biggest moment in his career, I dare say the biggest moment in his life, the young man. He missed one earlier on.
Yeah, this is where you've just got to clear your head.
Taylor Byrne with a chorus of Blues. Siren to tie it up. And he does not. Misses. His teammates go to him. The Pies celebrate. A classic finish in a classic matchup. Nick Dacos brings up the tongue and steers his team to a heartbreaking win over the Blues. Collingwood by a point at quarter time. Carlton by 14 at half time. Carlton 18 points up at three-quarter time. Before Collingwood get it done by 5 points on the back of Nick Dacos. Byrne had an opportunity. It's another lead given up for the Blues. And Nick Dacos and Collingwood will celebrate.
He ripped their heart out. They got nicked. Nick Dacos put on one of the best 30 minutes of football you'll ever see. He did it as a forward, he did it as a mid, and when you had to have it, he brought it to Carlton. They couldn't go with it. They didn't have a match-up, they didn't try another match-up. Apart from Ollie Hollands, and in the end he was simply too good. 13 touches in the last quarter, 5 of those become scores. He kicked the goal himself. He won 4 clearances. They were in all sorts without him. And he said, don't worry, I've got it, boys.
Well, you're right at three-quarter time. He needed to be the man. It didn't look like it was going to be a breakout game for anyone else bar him. As we see the Carlton players get around young Taylor Byrne as we head down to Camooney.
Sorry, boys, we're just reminiscing about how many times that's actually happened to you guys. Do you reckon that's happened a few times, that finish?
Yeah, well, I think my 400th, I don't know when it was, but one of their boys missed after the siren. So, but feel sorry for the young lad. Like, you can see he was so shattered after it, but put himself in the position to win it. So I think everyone on the field would rather be in his shoes than sit there not sure what the outcome's going to be.
Before we talk about the game, I did see you go straight up to young Burnsy. What did you say?
Oh, I just said, don't worry about it, man. Like, put yourself in that situation so many more times and you'll nail them. And, you don't like seeing somebody shattered like that. So, I like seeing guys try and take that opportunity. And, he was the man in the arena just then.
All right, Pendles, 3 goals down at three-quarter time. What was said? Because that was an incredible quarter of football.
Yeah, well, I think with the general message was all game is like, it's got to be a bit more clean and composed going inside 50 because the looks are there. We're just rushing. Felt like whoever got the ball first within 80 metres wanted to try and kick and finish the play, and we just had to be a bit more composed, find 1 or 2 extra positions with a bit of width, and then the looks will get easier.
Have you seen a last quarter like that from Nick, from anyone before?
I sort of laughed when he went forward and just sort of disconnected. It reminded me of when We used to play against Geelong, and Gaz Jr. would just do that from time to time. And, they're probably not supposed to be doing it, but they just do it anyway. And they take like one-handed marks, beat 2v1s, and he's a special player.
You've watched him from the moment he walked through this door. It's one of the greatest 100 games we've ever seen, yes?
Oh, I think it's the greatest 100 game we'll ever see. It's just phenomenal the way he walked in on day one, and he's just a competitor and he wants to win, and you can see the passion that just oozes out of him.
Anzac Day next week. I mean, it's going to be huge. You're coming up against another big club. Let's hope it's not your last, but it just might be.
Yeah, well, I sort of thought it was going to be my last one probably 8 years ago, so I've been enjoying them ever since and treating them that way.
Right, go and enjoy this one, mate. That's an amazing win.
Well, another fine performance by Pendlebury in game 430. Right, here's the free kick, Kingy.
Yeah, not a lot in it really. Gee, it would have been a big price to pay. But the umpire's got to call what he sees. It's very hard for us to put ourselves in that position.
I love the Carlton teammates there.
Yeah.
I think the free kick's there. I think the umpire has to pay that. Whether you can argue about force and whether it's there, but even Taylor Byrne, like the kick was actually not a bad kick. It only looked like it just missed. So it's a big moment for a young kid to have a shot after the siren to draw the game.
I just can't believe what we witnessed for the first 15 minutes of that fourth quarter.
It's extraordinary.
Everywhere Nick went, he was there ahead of time or absolutely at the perfect time when the ball arrived. He was unbelievable.
Let's go to the middle of the MCG.
Each other in Carlton and Collingwood. Tonight it was also for the Peter Mac Cup. Together they stand united for the fight against cancer. The Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre continues to be world-leading in its research, its treatment, and the support for those families who are going through some of the toughest moments of their lives. And tonight is just an example of how we can shine a light on the vital work that they do at Peter Mac. Each year, the Richard Pratt Medal is awarded to the player adjudged best on ground. And tonight, presenting that medal is Catherine and Tony Martina of Vizzy. Tonight, the Richard Pratt Medal goes to Nick Dacos of the Collingwood Football Club.
Firstly, special mention to Carlton. Unbelievable game tonight. We knew you guys were going to come for the fight, and what a game it was. What a privilege it is to play in this game for the Peter Mac Foundation. Such a great cause, and all the funds raised tonight go a long way. So well done to everyone in the crowd, and a special mention to the Pratt family for their ongoing support too. Thank you.
And next we invite Jason Payne, CEO of the Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre, to present the Peter Mac Cup to the Collingwood Football Club.
Well, we saw during the night that his last 4 starts versus the Blues, 2 lots of 3 votes, 2 lots of 2 votes. He gets 3 votes tonight. We'll keep an eye on Brownlow night. I think you were involved in the voting tonight, weren't you, King? Are we able to declare that?
Oh, we will.
We have.
In the end, it was Nick, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he was the reason they won the game, so he was best on ground. 2 I gave to Perryman. I thought he was very good all night. When they were backs to the wall, he was really solid. And 1 to Nick Newman. His first half was terrific, and probably the reason why Carlton had the lead they had. So in the end, it was a tough night to give votes.
So
except for Nick.
The celebrations were about Collingwood, Jason and Joey and Sarah will be down in the room shortly. You get the full wash up. But let's just talk about the Blues. 18 points up at 3/4 time. Was it the brilliance of Collingwood or was there failures in the Blues?
Oh, I think you've got to acknowledge the brilliance of Collingwood and Nick Dacos. I think that was obvious for all to see. But I think Kingy mentioned it halfway through the call. He just had the wrong matchup. Like Hollands inside the D50 was a wrong matchup. It should have been, I think it was Cowan at some stage and then Newman. But it was obvious for us to see. I just wonder why they didn't make that change early on and recognise that he was going to be really the only match winner that was going to drag them over the line. It played out the way that exactly Kingy mentioned at three-quarter time.
He's had a funny night, Elijah Hollins. He's just finished with the one kick for the night and looked like he was running into dead ends all night. I think there's a story there that will follow up during the week. Just didn't look right tonight. He just looked out of kilter, out of sorts. And I think for Michael Voss, they'll sit back and say this was a winnable game mid-third quarter. What did we do? How did we help the team win this game? And their skill execution for a 30-minute window was awful. So it didn't matter what your planning was. But in the end, the Carlton leadership crew take control and Carlton's fall away. They lost 7 clearances in a row when the game was hot. And that is Carlton's A game, his clearances. So you look at Cripps, you look at Walsh, you look at Chera, and you say, this was the time we needed you, and you weren't there.
On the Collingwood side of things, Dacos will be lauded, Perryman, you mentioned him, Josh Dacos, Lipinski, Scott Pendlebury. The young man that kicked a couple of goals and set them alight in that last term in the ruck, Steen, he's played a handful of games, Kingy.
Yeah.
He's a young, tall, skinny man. He's playing game number 4 tonight. He was a fire starter in the middle.
He was. And when they took that clearance control that was him, that hit, he had 6 hit-outs to advantages for the night. He wore some heavy punishment physically. 2 hit-outs to advantage that last term, which really got Collingwood rolling. Both went to Nick, I think. So they had to get Nick involved. He was the one that was going to give him that energy. They found one there. There's no doubt. I thought Anderson was terrific.
Say the same thing, 17 disposals. His second match ever, and when it was there to be won in the final term, he was really fighting.
That 50-50 ball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The blind turn.
Yeah.
Just grabbed it and off he went.
The 50-50 ball where he just put his head over it and away they went.
And I think they've rediscovered Jamie Elliott again. He looked full of beans. And he had a couple of horror moments that just didn't fall his way, didn't work for him, and he missed a couple of opportunities, and then he just lit up in that last term, and you say, you know what, we've got him for a few weeks now.
Anzac Day next week for Collingwood. Carlton next week, Fremantle away, then St Kilda, then Brisbane away the next 3 weeks.
Carlton's next 3 weeks. Yeah, that's... Collingwood say... You think that's still tough there. Essendon next week will be a tough match, I think. The next 3... doesn't get any easier with Hawthorn, Geelong and Sydney, but yeah, Carlton, that is a tough 4-week stretch. But I think Kingy's right. It was a winnable game tonight for Carlton. They just couldn't control the first 10 minutes of the 4th term, where Collingwood just completely dominated clearance, ground position, front half decision making.
The only rider I'll give it is Harry leaving the field when he was in the form that he was in. He wasn't likely to kick 6 or 7, but he was so good at commanding attention from 2 and 3 defenders. He was creating opportunities for others.
Hopefully it's not a concussion issue.
Yeah, it looked that way, didn't it? And it's been a problem for Harry in the past.
We'll take the Pies down to the rooms. You'll hear the song, and then we'll hand over to the post-game team, Hilly, who will be down there amongst the celebrations and the deep heat to tell us exactly what's going on.
You'll get the full analysis from the best in the business, but it does feel like one of those nights that if you're at the MCG, you'll be saying, I was there the night Nick Dacos played his 100th and carved them apart in the final term. It was a pretty special watch.
Yep, and I should have mentioned Chiefs trivia as well, so it doesn't matter how late you need to stay up tonight, Kingy. I want you to be involved in the trivia.
Only reason I'm going down.
That's exactly right. So, Collingwood, after a heartbreaking loss last week, they get the job done over the arch rivals. Byrne had a shot after the siren to tie it up. Was only able to kick a point, and Collingwood win by 5 points to even the ledger on their season. Anzac Day awaits. And there's the star, Nick Dacos. 39 disposals, 1 goal, 1, 8 inside 50s, 8 clearances, 16 contested possessions. Here's the Pies.
we go. It was Magpies victory. Can you believe it? The Pies did it. 13-10-88. The Carlton Blue Baggers, 12-11-83. They threw the anchors out in that third quarter and said, that's enough. We don't want to win this game. And that's exactly what happened. Magpies too good. Of course, Nick Dacos. I tell you what, forget about 3 Brownlow points for Nick Dacos in tonight's game, folks. Let's give him 6. He was that good in that final term. Holy Toledo Batman. He was sensational. The Magpies kicking 7 goals, 1 in that final term. Carlton, 3 goals, 2. There we go. Of course, the Carlton player, he had a shot after the goal. Umpires nearly decided this game for the game, which would have been a detriment. Of course, Josh Dacos got pushed in the throat and he just gave the other Carlton bloke a shove back and the umpire gave the Carlton free kick. Fortunately, the Carlton player missed and the game ended the way it should have. Of course, that all happened with about between 11 and 18 seconds on the clock to go. So that was fantastic, Manny. I tell you, it was disgusting. I don't know why the umpires don't see the big push in the throat, but they see the little shove in the back. I don't know what's going on there. They want to stop that. I'm sure that will certainly be looked at during the week, quite possibly. I tell you what a ring-a-ding-ding game here. Dacos on fire, 3 Brownlow votes. Hey, let's have a look at the goal scorers before we wrap it up. For Carlton, Mitch McGovern, 3 goals. Brodie Kemp, Matty Carroll, Ben Ainsworth, 2 goals. Harry Mackay with 1. Will Hayward, Francis Evans, and of course for the Magpies, Jamie Elliott came to the fore in that final quarter. He lit up the park with Nick also. 3 goals, 1, 18 disposals, fantastic. He worked hard all night and the results came. Oscar Steen, absolutely brilliant, the big ruckman there. I tell you what, he's worth his weight in gold. 2 goals for him off his 4 kicks. 15 hit-outs. He was fantastic when the Pies needed. Tim Embry, Daniel McStay, also with a couple. Singles to Bo McCreary, Patrick Lipinski, William Hayes also snuck in there. And, of course, Dacos kicked one on his 100th game. Oh, you're guilty. And, of course, if you don't mind umpire, there was only one person in a 30 disposal count out on the ground today. And, of course, that was the superstar, Nick Dacos. Man, he had 39 touches. Some new blood. Yeah, he's fantastic, the big man. He's only a young fella, but geez, I tell you what, he's good. He's definitely dominant in the ruck. When he went in the ruck in that final last quarter, wow, things started to happen. 39 touches for Nick Dacos, 15 kicks, 24 handballs, 6 marks, 2 tackles, 8 clearances, 1 goal, 1. Thank you very much. 3 votes. The umpires won 3 votes. To tell you what, they nearly got the 3 votes from that last free kick. He was the only one in the 30s. Next best for Collingwood. From 39 was Harry Perryman, who had a ring-a-ding-ding game on 27 with Paddy Lipinski. Josh Dacos couldn't believe it when he gave that free kick away, 26. For Carlton, the best was Sam Walsh on 28, 11 and 17, 7 marks, 7 tackles, 4 clearances. Zach Williams, 25. Paddy Cripps tried his heart out there, 25 touches for Carlton, 5 clearances also. Scotty Pendlebury, 24 as we roll on down. Ned Long, 22. Mark Pinay was good down back there in the ruck there. 21 possessions, 20 hit-outs, 5 clearances. He was also pretty good. Jacob Wiedering, also good in defence for the Blues with 20 touches. Rowan still 18 for the Magpies. As I said, Jamie Elliott, I tell you what, it was a hard-fought game by him, but he got the rewards, 18 touches, 11 kicks, 7 handballs, a clearance, 3 goals, 1. You little beauty. Darcy Cameron, 20 hit-outs, 4 clearances, 17 touches. He did really well. Bo McCreary did some great things in that final term, ended up with 15 touches. Billy Frampton held up reasonably well in that final last quarter too. 14 touches, well done to him. Oscar Steen, that's him. Oscar Steen. There we go, 2 goals. The big ruckman for the Maggies, 15 hit-outs as well. Pretty much, tell you what, he hits a lot to advantage, which is absolutely fantastic. Just have a quick look at the team stats. The Tigers got on top by 26. Inside 50s, what was it, 23 scoring shots apiece, 44 inside 50s for the Blues, 58 for the Magpies, doing it well. There are plenty of chances. Free kicks, 18-14, plus 4 to the Magpies. The Pies won the hitouts, plus 8. Just 2 in the clearances, and they come from the centre. 11-13 stoppages was all pretty well. Contested ball, Carlton did contest the ball well, 133, good numbers, plus 20, so they'll be happy in that aspect of the game. Turnovers, well, it wasn't really too high for both sides, 59-64 under season average. The Pies plus 35 in the marks, but Carlton were a little bit better. Inside forward 50, 13-10, and in the air contested 11-6. The tackle count, both teams, as you can see, from the quarter time about 11 and 13 or so, around about that figure at 13, they both rammed up the pressure, 62-64. Good to see both teams. I think Carlton's pressure was up around 200 in that third term. 10-15 tackles inside forward 50. Pies by 5 there, but absolutely fantastic. Looking at the live ladder, so Collingwood would have been there in 13th. Let's just reload the live ladder up and we'll see where the Magpies sit. There they sit now. They're sitting 9th. They're in the top 10. They are in the top 10. There we go. After played 6, 3 wins, 3 losses, 94.8 is their percentage. Of course, they're equal. We can say they're equal 5th. With 3 wins, just apart from the other teams who've got the extra game to play. The percentage really needs to boost. Of course, the Magpies do have Essendon next week, Anzac Day game, I think it is. That's going to be a cracking game. Essendon have found a little bit of form. Let's hope they don't bring it next week. And, of course, Carlton, there we go, right down there, sitting 16th on the ladder, played 4, 1 win, 5 losses, 79.2 their percentage. They're down there with the Bombers and Richmond pretty much down the bottom, holding the ladder up, but that's fantastic news. Let me just have a little bit of a peekaboo. Let me have a look at the fixture and we'll see who Carlton plays next week for everybody, but there we go. We've got next Saturday week it is, Essendon play Collingwood. There we go, that's going to be fantastic game there. Essendon play Collingwood, the MCG 3:20. That's the game we want to cover. That's going to be a cracker. And of course, Carlton next Saturday week. Tell you what, that's going to be a hard trip. They've got to go over to Optus Stadium and play Fremantle. They've got to play Fremantle. That's going to be another good game. Should be actually that'll be an interesting game. Carlton Dockers, even though it's over at Optus Stadium there in Perth. Home game there for Freo. That should be a cracker. Yeah, Elliott was good. Houston did all right too. Steen, I tell you what, he's fantastic. Carlton nice in 16th position. They could fall further, especially next week if they play Freo. Let me just double check. I was going to say if Richmond could win this week, they're playing North Melbourne. You just never know, but I think North Melbourne might win that game. Essendon this week got Gold Coast. I think Gold Coast are absolute certainties up there at People's First Stadium. They're super duper hard to beat. There, many. As I've seen, I did actually watch the Pies play the Gold Coast up at People's First Stadium there on the Gold Coast. I did travel up there once, watched them. Gold Coast got the job done. Not way too good, as I think they were. Just like the Pies tonight, I tell you what, who would have thought, looking at this worm, Carlton got to about 8 points, and then the Magpies got to about 7 points up. Carlton took over the game, looked like was going to be in trouble, but it was always in the back of the minds, definitely of Carlton players, Carlton fans, Collingwood players, Collingwood fans, that Carlton would stop, they'd throw the anchor out. And that is exactly what they did, Eddie. They threw the anchor out, and the Pies just come waltzing past. There we go. Anyway, that's going to be a fantastic game next week. Collingwood taking on the Bombers and Freo taking on Carlton next week. They've still got a few good games up the sleeve for this week. As I said, Geelong, Western Bulldogs Friday night, tomorrow night. Sydney and GWS Saturday. The Gold Coast taking on the Bombers. Hawthorn, Port Adelaide. Adelaide, St Kilda, and Sunday, North Melbourne, Richmond, Melbourne, Brisbane, and of course, West Coast, Eagles and Freo. That's the game we want to cover, Eddie, if we're home. We'll be doing that game That's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game just like tonight for the Peter Mac Cup game. And, of course, the Magpies taking it out too strong. But what a game, what a game, what a finish. What a finish. The Pies finally pulled their finger out, boys. Got the job done. Paul, I bet you never thought the Pies were going to get the job done. If you were watching it, there live, up until three-quarter time, especially when they were 18 points down, but we never gave up hope. Good old Anzac Day footy. Yeah, on a Saturday. It's going to be cracking. It's going to be another 90,000 plus crowd there at the MCG. 90-95, I would imagine, for Anzac Day. It's going to be a cracking game. Usually pretty good games. Let's just hope the Pies can get the job done then. Hey, that's about all I've got for this coverage. Hey, thanks everyone for jumping on in. Mini, thanks for jumping on the membership. Good start, bro. Thanks, Eddie G. Hey, thanks, Paul. I hope you enjoy the Melbourne weather. It's a little bit colder than Thailand, I know that, but I'll tell you what, it's good to have that refreshing Melbourne weather. What is it now? 13 degrees. 13 degrees. There we go. Essendon to bring in the Anzac biscuits. Let's hope so. They're probably in the kitchen cooking them right now, preparing them, ready for Anzac Day. That should be pretty good. All right, boys. Hey, that's enough of me. I need a coffee. I need to head on to the kettle, put it on, make one. So thanks all. Hey, we did have the poll in there. I think it was 53%. 53% went for the Maggies in the live poll there today. So that was fantastic. Good to see. We got that one right. But we'll probably see everyone tomorrow. Probably cover a half a game tomorrow. What game should we cover tomorrow? Geelong Western Bulldogs or Sydney or the Giants? Let us know. Which one, boys? Which one do you think will be a better game to cover? Actually, you know what we can see? We might actually wait, do the second half of one of those games. We'll see what the scoreline is. Maybe we'll see what the scoreline is. We'll take the closest game. Should be pretty good. I'm just not sure. I think the Geelong Western Bulldogs will be good. I think Sydney will give the Giants a little bit of a spanking there. The Giant, yeah, I think so. All right, boys. Hey, that's me over and out. Thanks for jumping on in with me. Watching the game, listening to the game. Thanks, Eddie G, for cheering on the Magpies, as you always do. I know they're your second favourite team behind Freo. That's the way. Good man. You reckon the doggies? The doggies, I tell you what. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be an interesting game. Dogs have certainly got more pace. I haven't checked on the ins and outs of that game yet. Should be pretty... I think it'll be a good game down there at GMHBA Stadium. All the same. Just depends if a couple of their big guns fire. They definitely need Cameron firing, I think, if they need to be a big chance against the Dogs. All right, folks. Hey, thanks again. That's all I've got for this one. It's time to wrap it up. So, until next time, boys. Ciao for now. We'll see you at the next game.
Quarters, I wasn't impacting around the ball the way I would have liked, and my pressure was really average, you know.
Just talking with Nick Dacos.
But I didn't find that damaging for us, and to our point before, that's why I want to be able to go forward. I want to be a player like these Isaac Heaney's and that are so damaging. They go forward. Might only have it 15, 20 times, so they kick multiple goals and set them up.
And then talk about what's going on in your mind. Seconds to go, your brother gives away a free kick off the ball and they're having a shot to tie it up. How did that make you feel?
It wasn't a good feeling, that's for sure. And I saw his face just absolutely drop when it happened. And it's one of those frustrating moments. And I think Burn, the Carlton player, I knew he was a really good kick too. So that probably added salt to the wound, thinking he'd probably kick it. But such a tough kick late in the game and 90,000 there.
Is there a sense like that we've just got to find a way to get this win because you dropped the last 2 going in, 3 in a row, then you start to have to chase the pack in the season. It's just like we're just going to throw everything at this.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a big believer that you've got to bank wins early. It's, once it gets to the crunch time late in the year, they feel like finals already, and you don't want to sort of be in those positions where they must win games in round 17. So these games are so crucial to us. I said out in the ground, I feel like Carlton are actually going really well. I think they're a good side, and probably the consistency we understand for the 4 quarters hasn't been there, but I think they're going to challenge a lot of teams, so tonight was a big win for us.
How's the physical toll on your body and the treatment you're getting out on ground? How are you finding it? I know Cripper crawled over you a couple of times today and made you earn it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm super fortunate with the staff I got here and the physios that every time I run out there, I'm ready to go. Obviously, I didn't play in the Brisbane game, and that was a bit frustrating, and flying up there, I just wanted to play, but no, my body's in a really good spot. I think we've got a good break now leading into Anzac Day, so I'm excited.
So the 100 games, got a few mates I saw here as well. You got anything planned maybe tomorrow, go and have lunch or a couple of beers?
They want to catch up tonight, so I think I'll see the boys tonight. I really appreciate them coming out and supporting me, and I think all the Collingwood boys are getting together tomorrow, which would be nice too, leading into the VFL tomorrow night.
Are your mates the sort of boys that's happy just to have a quiet night? They want to wind things up a little bit.
We've got a mixed bunch. I think I'm too tired. I'll be in bed pretty soon, I think. But the boys, a lot of them are Collingwood fans, so they're pumped.
Too tight and too responsible, I think. Jason, Nick, congratulations on the first 100 games. It's been a joy watching you. We look forward to maybe another 200 or 300 more. Maybe you could chase down Pendle's record, perhaps.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, he can keep playing forever.